first pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Caleb Williams, quarterback, Southern California.
Guys, I am very excited tonight because this has been a generational draft in my life, and it's very exciting for us to have on a couple of excellent guests tonight. The first one being Erik Kramer, former Chicago Bears quarterback, record holder of most of the records still, and soon to be joined by NBC sports draft analyst Glynn Morgan. So Erik, I'm so happy that you decided to come back with us again. We are honored to have you on the show, and I don't want to take up too much of your time unless you're having so much fun that you just want to hang out a little bit longer. But
I'm getting drawn in by the second when Foster showed up in his McMichael jersey. Put me over the top.
Excellent. Maybe they give us like 17 minutes tonight or something.
We'll see how it goes.
Erik, I want to ask you, first off, it's a two-part question. Unlike PJ likes to ask 27-part questions, this is just a two-part question. What do you think of this current Bears draft, specifically Caleb Williams? And the second part to that is, how do you feel about your records? I know that you've said that records are meant to be broken, but do you think that this is going to be the quarterback to break them, and how long will it take?
Okay, so that's more than two-part question. Less than 27, but more than two. So I'll just say that I feel great about this draft, and without limiting it to Caleb Williams, actually. In fact, I love it. I think I hit it out of the park with every pick they made. Back in the day when I thought there was going to be some trade value for moving backwards, that's back when I thought, okay, hey, do like what they did last year and go out and take whatever's team number one, have them throw in a player that you need, like a left tackle or an edge rusher, more picks, etc., and move back and get a guy like Bo Nix. Well, that reality was in my own head. So with the pick of Caleb Williams, I still think that Drake May would have been the right pick there. Here's what I've seen so far to Caleb Williams, and I'm not a draft Nick, okay? So I don't study all the quarterbacks every day, all day long. What I have seen out of Caleb is that he makes the game too difficult. Do you remember a few years ago when what's his name? Patrick Mahomes was basically doing the same thing and was being pointed out during games. Here's read number one, wide open. If you did it 10 times in a row, that's the guy that gets the ball. Why are we now looking to the backside of the field, scrambling, maybe making an interception when it should be 1st and 10? That's what Caleb Williams does often. So great that he's, special in being able to create things. Super. What I want to know now, can you play within the structure of the offense? Can you keep the game simple? Because if you can, then given Caleb Williams what he can do that others can't, can you do what others can? You name me a quarterback today or ever that's ever been consistently successful running around. Name one. Anyone.
Steve Young. Steve Young.
Fran Tarkenton threw more interceptions and touchdowns.
No, you're scaring me now because now you're making a good point. Because you're speaking from a quarterback who played for our Bears, and still holds most of the records. And your perspective is this: I'm
not saying he can't do it. I'm saying he can, but if he doesn't, then shame on the Bears.
Right.
Now you better be so confident in the way you've gone. Like I can imagine me sitting in a room with Caleb Williams going over his video and go, what made you not throw to that guy? What made you not throw to that guy? What made you not throw to that guy? Like that would go on all day long.
You're feeding right into PJ's same sentiment. PJ's enjoying this. I know it.
Erik, we already talked about that quiet confidence, right?
We did. It doesn't take a lot.
I see your point, Erik. I stated that there's this period of adjustment is going to be longer than people think. But then it was also brought to my attention to look at more of his tape, and somebody said something about looking at 2022, where he played a little bit more in structure. I just think the situation at USC helped dictate some of the issues. Plus, I also think that Caleb is like Justin Fields, and they're greedy. They want it all too much, all the time. You know what I mean? So
okay, I'll give you that. I'm just talking. There's a very simple way to play this game, extremely simple. So most offenses these days, most passing games are designed to get one guy in conflict with two receivers all day. You can't watch the NFL without watching that.
Mm-hmm.
And so one thing Justin Fields can't do today, can't do 20 years from now, is isolate that one guy and make him wrong. So you either freeze him where he's at and you throw opposite him, or you help him continue to go where he's already going and you throw opposite. I didn't see Justin Fields do that one time. I think Caleb Williams is in a little different category. I just don't think he's been held to doing it, because
it's going to come down to who if they have the offensive coordinator correct and the offensive staff correct. That's going to be the difference that we're looking for, right? Really quick, I
think you're right. I think within the coaching staff on offense, that will happen, but it has to happen.
Yes. Glynn Morgan has
freelance USC football. It can't happen.
I want to bring you in, Glynn, just so you can be a part of this conversation. So yes, I know exactly what you're saying, Erik. Glynn, thanks for joining us.
Glynn Morgan in the house.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Hey, we're honored to have you. Both you guys on the show. We are so humbled and honored to have both you on the show with us tonight. It's had me giddy all day. Today I was mowing my yard on my lawnmower and my tractor, just thinking about all the things I want to say. But we want to keep this.
Not often you drive by a guy on a riding lawnmower with a smile on his face.
Yes, exactly.
But I'm sure that was the case today with you.
Well, I used to love it, and then I started hating it because it was just like an acre and a half every 2 weeks or a week, But tonight I was really excited about this show. So thank you, Glynn, for joining us, and of course Erik for joining us again. We so appreciate it. I kind of want to get around the horn here. So we'll end with you, Glynn. PJ, you have any questions for Erik? Is anything you want to say?
Again, Erik, thank you for joining us. I just have one quick question for you. What advice would you give Caleb Williams, being a rookie as well as a Chicago Bear quarterback?
Oh, that's a good one.
I'd give Caleb Williams the same advice I would give a 12-year-old, in that you're going to fall down a lot, and you have to get really good at help. Like, you set the stage in the way you direct your attention toward others.
Mm-hmm.
So when other people see that you are one to kind of help get people to collaborate and work together instead of isolating someone else when they make a mistake, because when you pull people together, that's how the whole team rises. And that's the advice I would give. If I have any to give, it would be that. Like, this game is so much more mental and emotional than it is physical. True, you do have to have some physical gifts, but more than anything, you've got to have, like, your mental, emotional state has to kind of go steady.
Thank you.
said.
How could you disagree with that?
I love that kind of translates to what I read in your book about you you going to that moment where you were almost meditating and you were trying to see the future in your meditation, where when you know you're trying to manifest something. And I do that a lot in my own personal life. Like if there's a big project I'm working on at work, or something that's big coming up in my life, I like to, when I'm falling asleep, I like to think about that and manifest what my next move is as I'm kind of drifting into sleep. And it always seems to help me the next day.
Yeah.
And you, like, that point in your book made a lot of sense to me when I was reading it, because
Thanks, Foster.
like when you're able to work in that calm frame of mind to where you've already manifested the future in your own mind to know, like, what you're going to have to do to get to that next point.
Yeah.
Like, that was some of your best seasons. And I mean, it's I mean, you are still a Chicago legend after all these years. I mean, me going to all those games, sitting in the press box, I think I told you about last time you were here, and going into the locker room, and I must have been Peter Tom Willis, because you didn't remember you laying or sitting with your helmet in your hand outside of the locker room leaning up against the wall.
Right.
It must have been PT Willis, but I was trying to find that game because I don't remember when he finished that game. But you know, those are the moments that you're, you know, that make you who you are. When you are in that moment and you are manifesting the next moment, you're thinking farther than the next play. You're thinking, you're envisioning it happening in the future.
Yeah, I think you hit that. Again, that goes back to what I would tell pretty much everybody. And it's not confined to football, by the way. So there's pretty much nothing you can't use, you know, sort of a meditative state, for lack of a better word, or, you know, there's not much you can't breathe your way through also.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of sort of being reactionary to either your faults or someone else's, just take a few moments and get that perspective back where you're kind of looking at what's going on from an aerial view. And that helps you gain, you know, that sort of where you're sort of not so reactionary to what's either about to happen or what just happened.
Exactly. Foster, do you have any questions for Erik Kramer tonight?
I'm not going to ask a question. I'm just going to tell a quick story. So I was having some issues money-wise, and you know how life can be rough some days, you know, and I'm pretty good at handling it. I've been through enough myself. So Dan was nice enough. I'm like, man, I really want the book. I got a money issue. So Dan sends me the book, and I didn't even finish it yet. I've read like half of it, but I've been reading it to some people that are in recovery.
I'm Dan, by the way. It says Shorty, but I am Dan.
Shorty, this guy over here all the way.
Thanks for clarifying, Shorty.
Yeah. So I just wanted to thank you for that, because just me reading it to other people who can't either see or don't have the best, they're not capable of certain things. So
Yeah.
I've got comments. This even was earlier today. I read like the first chapter to them, and now I have to go back and continue this book because I've grabbed like 8 or 10 people that are just, they want to know the whole thing. And I'm like, can you read more? And I'm like, you guys, I got to run. I actually made it to the studio early today because I knew both you guys were going to be on. I got here early. I was the first one back here waiting to see who was going to show
you were.
up.
I was impressed.
Yes.
Same here.
That's usually not me, but I want to just thank you, Erik, for the book, for being a Bear. I watch both you guys. You guys, man, Glynn, there should be more access to you, man. You are one of the best at what you do. And Erik, you are exactly who you are. And I just love, whether it's your football take or you're talking life, either one of you guys, man. It's a no-brainer. It's a good conversation, and people should pay attention to it when it's happening. So thank you, both of you guys.
Appreciate that.
Thanks,
buddy.
Foster. Appreciate that.
That's awesome, Foster. Carl, what would you like to ask Mr. Kramer right now?
Well, Erik, I totally agree with you. I think that the quarterback position, if you can, keep it simple, stupid, that's going to lead to the most success. So I totally agree with you there. I think Caleb's going to be a good player for us. But my question is not necessarily regarding the X's and O's, but more off the field. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the pre-draft chatter regarding Caleb Williams was kind of his off the field, not antics, but kind of what he was as a teammate, as a human being, his character, all that stuff. So what are some things as a quarterback yourself that you tried to do off the field to try and make sure that you were the best teammate, each and every Sunday?
Great question.
That is a great question. I would just say, again, this goes back to keep it simple. Be yourself. Whatever you do that. And, don't, I would warn against trying to do anything that's outside of what you already do. Because by the time you get here, you're 22, 23, 24 years old. In Caleb's case, what is he, 21? Who cares? But whatever
he's a millionaire already. He's a millionaire already, so it's kind of going to be an interesting thing to see. I think I'm agreeing with you. The Chicago media, if he has a couple losses, how's he going to handle that? I'm very interested to see that.
Well, I'm sure over time, okay, if you've experienced some falling off the horse, you've also experienced some getting back up. And I'm going to imagine Caleb's gone through his share of that. And anybody that I think plays this game, let me back up. Other people have had to learn the hard way that if you don't humble yourself and work at it, it's difficult. And I think Caleb's going to find that, there's no such thing as too much preparation. And that's the way to keep it simple, is when you prepare, not just learning your playbook, but like I was saying, dealing with your own emotions and your mental, how your mental process of things, you have to train that as much as you train anything else, if not more.
Definitely. Totally agree.
When I first started going to the games that I was watching you in the mid 90s, when I was working for the Bears and running off the stats and all that stuff and sitting in the press box and couldn't talk, couldn't scream, couldn't cheer. That was the first moment in my life that I saw the mortality in football. And when I was really watching it on a week by week, game by game, home game by home game basis from the press box, and watching you play the position of quarterback for our beloved, it really brought the mortality to it, because it was no longer on a TV screen where it's almost immortal, right? You're watching it and you're seeing it, and but when you're seeing the whole field and you're seeing everything that you're seeing and processing, like, you are the first quarterback in my life to have brought that mortality to the game, to where I had empathy for you in those moments, because I could see the same things that you were seeing. And so to hear you talk about all this is fascinating, and I love it. And thank you so much again for sharing, your quarterback visions of the Bears with us. It's truly an honor and so much appreciated. I don't want to keep you too much longer unless you want to hang out with us longer. But Glenn,
let me just say one thing that I'm 59 years old, and so I've gone to my share of funeral services now, and you never really know what effect you have on somebody. You have no idea.
Right.
Things that you've done that you were long forgotten literally changed someone's life.
Right.
And thank you for bringing that perspective back to me, because you know,
You're gonna make me cry, Erik.
no, I'm serious. When you don't know the effect you have on people, and so therefore that's a good kind of thing to know. Mike Utley, who is a teammate of mine in Detroit, obviously he's paralyzed now from the waist down, and has been for over 30 years. And I have a friend that we grew up playing youth football together. And James is now paralyzed from the waist down. He was in a one-car accident about 2 months ago.
Oh my goodness.
And one of the things Mike told him, now he didn't have to tell me because I see this all the time in him. He goes, James, when I was, in my younger days, he goes, people would notice me when I walked in a room because I was big. Mike's 6'5", and he goes, then after I got paralyzed, people noticed me because I was in a wheelchair. He goes, now people notice me because of my attitude. And I think that it doesn't matter your circumstances. I was at Mike and Danny's house. They live in the St. George area, Utah. I was at his house probably on the weekend that James had his accident. And I told him, I said, Mike, and this is not knowing a thing about James. I go, Mike, one thing I've always told you is you cannot change your circumstances, but your attitude is ridiculous. Now, we're talking about a guy who's nearly died probably 6 or 7 times just in the last 4 or 5 years. So, again, and he talked about James. He goes, James, you have to decide, what do you want your living legacy to be? You're going to be the guy that, oh, look at me? Or are you going to be the guy that, in the way you carry yourself, that you're clean shaven, that Mike's in good shape for a guy that's never been out of a wheelchair for half his life, over half his life, in fact.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't carry around a lot of excess weight. And yet here's a guy who can't travel because he's got rods in his back from all the scoliosis. And you'd never know that by talking to him. And so I think that's, one of the things that a person, it doesn't matter what walk of life, but if you're playing for the Chicago Bears or you're playing for your high school team, people are looking at you.
I had our high school quarterback, a good friend of mine in high school and out of high school and stuff. He was involved in a snowmobile accident where he hit a tree stump that was covered in snow and was launched into a tree, and is now he's been paralyzed since the early 2000s, and he has not looked back from that at all. He is like the most amazing wheelchair athlete you could ever imagine. I mean, he's playing wheelchair basketball. He's in wheelchair like Olympic stuff.
Yep.
I mean, he's like, I think he's been sponsored for stuff. He's in better shape than I am, and it's a true testament to when that happens to someone. If you can find the best in everything and just always push forward like that, that's what truly is. It's what makes you special, right?
Agreed.
Two things. Hey, Peach, can we reinstate any of those rules from '95 where they make Shorty not speak?
I'm
sorry. I was trying to get that in earlier. I used terrible time to do that, but I wanted to see if Glenn still had a question.
I'm trying my best not to host the show. I apologize. Glenn, I do want to get to your questions for Erik before he has to go. And again, Erik, thank you so much for your time. We want to make this super special for you, that you want to come back again and again and again. And we didn't want to.
That's a given. Yeah.
Excellent. Glenn, thank you for joining us tonight. We love you, brother. This is your third time on the show. You're awesome. Go ahead.
Hey guys, thanks for having me again. And Erik, pleasure meeting you once again. You may or may not remember back in the Fox Sports Chicago days, not too long after you had left the Bears, you were trying to, I think you were, before you went to Fox National, you were coming to Chicago, kind of refining things.
Yeah.
And I met you back then. So
Great.
great meeting you again. Glad to see you.
You too.
The question I have, and thank you. And the question I have, we focus so much, and I get it, on the quarterback position, obviously. I've said it time and time again, it's the most important position in all of team sports. That being said, it's also the most interdependent position in all of team sports. Everyone's got to be doing their job, so the quarterback can be the best that they can be to help the team. And I've, prior to us getting to know more and more about Caleb, one of the things, comments that I made was I thought the most important thing Caleb needed to do, like his first win, was not so much on the field, but with his teammates in the locker room. And I think he's done a great job of that so far before he's even gotten into the locker room. So now I'm reassessing. And my question to you is, as I look and think more about it and listen to what everyone's been saying and what you've said recently, how important, and I assume that it is, it's kind of a rhetorical question, but to what degree of importance is that relationship that Caleb is going to have with his offensive coordinator? Because in my opinion, the coordinator positions, both offensively and defensively, are the big reason why teams win and lose consistently. If the coordinators aren't right, everything else kind of falls apart. So quarterback position being the most interdependent position, and him having that connectivity, the relationship that he builds with the offensive coordinator, how important and how much can we expediently expect that to show dividends on the field?
That's a great question, Glenn. And I think that it really, when you say the quarterback position itself is so interdependent, it is. But the way I had a kid recently, basketball player, it's a prep school back in the East, and they were out here playing tournament. He goes, how do I integrate and make the players around me better? And I said, well, here's what you do. You focus on doing your job. And the way you go about doing your job, others are observing you all the time. So if you're diligent about all that you do, starting with the way you work on your own fundamentals, the way you communicate with the players around you, and so now the connection between Caleb Williams and the coordinator, Shane Waldron, is really a function of what Caleb Williams does every day of his life. And if you are motivated yourself to work on all phases of who you are as an athlete, as a person, as a player, that's going to filter its way into your relationship with Shane Waldron too. And so everything I've heard about Shane is that he's a very creative yet fundamentally sound coach. Super, because that's what playing this game's all about. Just be fundamentally sound. And as Frank Gans, who was a special teams coach in Detroit, would say, rely on your training. If you've trained well, you're going to play well if you rely on it.
I appreciate that. Part of the reason why I asked, I thought that was a big failing here with the previous offensive coordinator in Justin Fields. Although they seem to like one another, it didn't seem like they were on the same page. And with that, I think that the breakdown not just with Justin, I also saw the other players on offense. There was a lack of cohesion and understanding about how to implement and execute. And it just seemed like that connectivity never really became an authentic one, and one that they could really glean any kind of success from. And so going into this, Caleb is he's a very self-aware young man. I think he's obviously manifested a lot of what he wants to have that's happened. He's manifested a lot of that, and he's so hyper-focused. I'm curious as to how that hyper-focused intensity is going to work well with an NFL veteran offensive coordinator, and when this is what you need to learn. And I'm not saying that Caleb is not coachable. I believe he is coachable.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw some of that dynamic a little bit in college play out to where Caleb is like, you know what, I'm going to do what needs to be done on the field. And when he's on the field, you know, and the coach has to kind of live with it a little bit. Lincoln Kennedy had a little, I'm sorry, Lincoln, am I saying it right, man?
Lincoln Riley.
Yeah. Lincoln Kennedy's offensive tackle. Riley. Lincoln Riley kind of had to live with some of what happened on the field. And I saw a little bit of that with Holmgren and Brett Favre, where Holmgren was pulling his hair out and Brett Favre is like, hey, man, hair's on fire. So it's harnessing that, but doing so that the relationship doesn't devolve and become something that becomes toxic. And I was just really curious as to you know, how that's going to play out. And I know it's nothing that any of us can answer right now, but I just wanted to have your take on it.
No, but I think your point is well made. And I think you kind of touched on it earlier when you said in your observation of Caleb, he seems a self-aware guy. And so that's going to show up if he really is or not. And because you do need, I don't care who you are, Brett Favre or anyone else, you owe it to those around you that you're not here to have other people fail. You're here to do your job so that other people can succeed too. Part of that job is tempering your own emotions. And you can't come out and just be like you're on the schoolyard. You can't. You have to be determined, like you said. Hyper-focus is almost a backhanded compliment. I would say focused, because that's what you want. You want to be focused and but focused on your entire game, your mental state, your emotional state, the physical way that you play the game. And those are the type of things that when you are, when you're just consistent and people rely on your consistencies, it's amazing what they think of you. And so you're Superman when you're really just the consistent. When I know my reads, the ball gets there, it's on time, he runs after the catch.
Right.
1st and 10. That's what we love.
Gotcha.
How do you feel about
just
the overall as a you know, coming from your perspective to the Bears, UDFA, right? With the Lions, you beat the Cowboys. You damn near like accomplished everyone's goals there. Boom, you're a Bear. I mean, I know you have conflicted loves for both teams, and I think I asked you this last time, but I'm not sure if I don't think you understood the question. Like, so what? Just a side note: when you retired, what team did you retire as? Were you a Lion or or did you retire as a Bear?
No, I retired as a San Diego Charger.
Did you really?
I did.
Wow.
And so, so when you say conflicting, yes, because here's how my leaving Chicago happened. After the season in '98, Coach Wanstead and his staff got fired. A new regime came in with Dick. He came from Green Bay. He was a DP, Dick Duran,
Dick Duran.
and Mark Hatley. And so this is the wake up call to the Chicago Bears I received. So that year got cut short for me. Because I ultimately played through a labrum tear for most of that season, and eventually I couldn't pick my arm up. My last game was in Nashville, played against the Tennessee Titans, but we played at Vanderbilt. And on the same day, I had surgery for what's called a slap lesion tear. I had surgery for knee surgery. And so in both injuries, I couldn't move for a month, either one, which means I had to be, if I was outside, I had to be either hopping around on one leg or in a wheelchair. I had to slide up and down my own steps at home. I eventually rehabbed in Arizona, where Ryan Wetnight had recovered from a torn ACL a couple years before that. And so, and I was there for all the off-season workouts. I just really couldn't. So now, when I was in Arizona, I was working out, throwing, everything. Day before training camp, I get a call from Tim Breen, who was then the head trainer. And he says, yeah, the Coach Duran, and at that time, the offensive coordinator was Gary Croton, who's now coaching here at Moore Park Junior College. And so I get a call saying, yeah, the coaches would like for you to come in and see that you're good, physically good enough to go through training camp. Okay. Bobby Ingram was there, and I forget who else, and threw great. The next morning, I get a call to come in and see Coach Duran. I'm thinking he's going to tell me, great workout. Mark Hatley's in there. And I forget which one did the talking. Sorry, we're going to go in a different direction. And
Probably
that different direction was Cade McNown.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
My least favorite
Bears
draft
and their
pick.
quarterbacks.
So
My least favorite draft pick.
I don't have like that whole staff deserved what they got.
Yes.
And I mean from Mark Hatley on down.
Yes.
And I don't even know if any of them are in football anymore. and
Well, Mark Hatley is gone now, but yeah.
Okay. No love lost there. But just to be lied to that way was ridiculous. You want to cut me. But they got me on film. Like they had to show that I wasn't hurt. So that's like, you're going to, cut somebody. You just need to get it on film.
Ahead of time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Jeez. So then you retired as a Charger because that was the last team that you played for?
It was, and I got that season cut short late in the season. We played a game in Kansas City, and I know I played some that game, and got back. It was so we got back Sunday night. I was married at the time, and Marshawn had our two boys up in the area I live now. So San Diego, that's about a 2.5-hour drive. So Monday, I'm fine. Tuesday's a day off. Wednesday, we have practice. Fine. I go to bed, and I'm by myself. And I wake up in the middle of the night and can't move. And it was a second herniated disc. Only now I had one before. I had that episode before in Chicago, but this was the two above it or two below it, whatever. And so I was in the hospital, and people had either driven down or flown out from Chicago, only to find out that I'm in the hospital and my career just ended.
Oh my gosh. So
Man.
so why not the Lions though? Because they let you go?
They didn't let me go. I was a free agent.
Yeah, but they didn't re-sign you is my point. They could have.
Yeah. They didn't. So,
I love it. So you're like, fuck it to both these guys. I'm going to retire as a Charger.
And it's home though too.
I didn't want to go to San Diego. I didn't want to go anywhere but Chicago. But that's just the way it worked. And it wasn't, again, it wasn't my choice. And that's part of life, is sometimes things happen to you that are out of your control. And so you just roll with whatever comes next.
How much
Erik,
do you enjoy the NFL to this day? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Oh,
just listening to you, I was just real curious. Like, how much do you still enjoy it, or is there levels?
I love being a part of it in any way I can. When I was done playing, it took me about maybe a year and a half physically to kind of just recover. And
Gotcha.
so I started this. I was coaching my youngest son, Dylan Griffin's youth football team, and I was running a little Sunday passing camp, and we run it out of Agoura High School, and it was really just me and the coach I went to play junior college for, Jim Fenwick. And so I would have, parents could come and say we had a classroom, and then we went out on the field. We treated it like it was normal practice. And I think I ended up getting a phone call from a guy at Fox, and he goes, "Do you want to come down and audition?" And I go, "For what?" He goes, "To talk on camera." I go, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." So I went down to this, I don't know, like a little room, and I guess you're on this green screen thing, and I was horrible. I mean, horrible. And that taught me right away, no, it doesn't matter what you know. What matters is what you can say. And so eventually I got pretty good. And I started out, I think, doing the at first, I think it was the Lions preseason games. And then at some point it became the Bears. And then Fox joined the fray. And so then I went over and did NFL Europe games. And I pretty much did everything with Fox you could do. In booth analysis. I never got a full season. But I did a lot of studio stuff with them as well. Was on a couple TV shows, like football related. In fact, maybe the first ever fantasy football. It's called Ultimate Fantasy Football. Oh, yeah. And it was Patrick O'Neill.
I kind of remember that a little bit. Yeah.
Patrick O'Neill was the host of it, Ryan O'Neill's son. And we had it was Warren Moon, myself, and Andrew Siciliano. And that thing ran probably 4 or 5 years. And so anyway, I got, fairly adept and good, and I loved it, actually. But then, tragically, my son Griffin passed away. And that's kind of where life took a nosedive. So I kind of, if it weren't for that tragedy, then I would probably still be doing that today.
Understand.
Here's what I would rather do, to be honest with you, is coach high school football.
Nice.
Yeah, just the grassroots, pure joy of it all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're telling me you can't walk into your local high school and just automatically...
Just the grassroots, pure joy of it all.
I cannot. I've tried.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, that makes me feel better because I've
been an assistant coach before, and depending on the coach, I've liked it or not liked it. What I've determined now is I'm never going to do that again.
Wow.
I try to call my local high school here and see if I could get a coaching gig there for receivers or even quarterback, and they're like, no.
I went to a school, Royal High School, and I talked to their, at the time, assistant athletic director. And I told him I was interested if their head coach ever got fired, I'd be interested. That year, they went like 3-7. I called him back up this year after they went 0-10.
Ooh.
And he goes, yeah, I think we're going in the right direction. I said, all right. So, but the thing of it is you don't, like, I have no issues, none, with taking over a losing program. No issues whatsoever. And but for whatever reason,
I believe you could take an 0-10 team to a winning season. I believe that out of you.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
No, I'm serious. Like, we've done it in youth football. So if you can do it in youth football, you can do it in whatever. So my first season with the team that Griffin played on was that he was 8 in an 8, 9, and 10-year-old league, and we didn't win a game, and we scored 1 touchdown all year. All year.
Wow.
Jeez.
It took us about 2 years. Really, the next year we started beating teams that we couldn't get a playoff. Some of these games, and it was Clay Matthews, not the son that went to Agoura High School, but his dad taught me how to coach. So defensively, anyway. So we went from like in youth football, everybody runs roughly the same defense, 6-2, 4-4, whatever. Well, through the drill progressions that we ran, pretty soon as 10, 11, 12-year-olds, we were running 4-3 over under zone blitz, adjusting when offenses, overload one side or the other, we'd adjust right with them. And it was hard for us to lose after a while. And so I said, if you can coach youth football, here's the thing. If you can coach dads to coach kids, then you got something. And that's what I can do.
100% correct on that, right?
And I don't care.
You're adding another coach to the. Yeah. Erik, I love how you have been around for now 47 minutes. It must mean you're having fun with us.
Or I'm handcuffed to the chair, one of the two.
Yeah. We'll never know.
But since it's my house and I'm not handcuffed, yeah, it's been fun.
Shorty, what do you got? You got somebody on the other line threatening this man? Joking. I'm joking.
No. Erik, don't tell him. Don't divulge it. No, I'm. It's an honor to have you, and the fact that you've been on a lot longer than you wanted to be on for says something about what we have going on here, and I appreciate that. And
let me jump in here and say one thing. In June, early June, I think it's June 10th, which is actually my son Dylan's birthday. The Bears are having their annual alumni golf outing, and it's up at Jay Hilgenberg's golf course up in Kenosha. So, I typically will come and, I'm going to plan on getting there this year on a Saturday. I'll usually stay downtown for the first couple nights and then take an Uber or something out there. And then a good friend of mine, her and her family, they live about 5 minutes from the golf course. So I always find my way back there one way or the other.
Nice. Vernon Roseman here in chat he's actually the man that gave me, he had the job that worked for the Bears, but I was like his, the extra and like the extra seat that he got to give me to help him. I was like his helper.
Cool.
So I want to address his question to you because it's personal to all of us here. He says, Erik, what were some of your fondest memories as a Bear?
Well, it was, I think my first year here, I personally struggled, and I struggled so much that I lost a job. Mm-hmm. And then what happened was we went on, Steve Walsh replaced me, played well enough for us to win. We ended up going to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I spent some time sulking on the sideline that year.
I believe it. I would too.
And so in the off season, Dave says, okay, look, we're going to open the competition. You're going to get equal number of reps on everything. I got my salary got cut. I could make it up in incentives, which I did. But so coming from what felt like the bottom to the next year at the top, for me was that's kind of the definition of, to me, a success story. Because very rarely does success start out with success.
Correct. I mean, after all these years, you have, like, what is your sense of pride in what you have still accomplished that hasn't been broken here? I mean, you've got to feel
well,
a tremendous sense of pride.
Well, I'll tell you, what I feel prideful about is what I just mentioned. It's what it took to get there, what it took to stay there, the relationships that were developed along the way from, high school, college, pro. I even spent a season and a quarter or something in Canada, so I don't hold pride over records. I hold pride over what it took to kind of get there and stay there. And then how the same friendships I have that as a kid, I still have. And my aunt's like, more people than probably anybody on earth. So, all right. But it's, I guess that's what I'm trying to say is that I had a coach at NC State. Well, I only got to play for him for 1 year, Dick Sheridan, who he's also passed away now. But he was one of those special people that as good as an on-field coach as he was, I mean, amazing. He would always say, this is all about relationships. And to this day, there's a group of us, along with their significant others, if you have one, that get together out in Myrtle Beach, which was, most everybody lives back in that area of the country that I went to school with. I'm the only one that lives out on the West Coast. And, but every year now we get together at some huge, ridiculous house and have a, pig master, whatever it's called, master chef, do the barbecue thing, the pig all day. Nice. And so, one guy, Jeff Strum, was like, hey, we should have a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. And I said, okay, perfect. Eugene Peters Eugene has like a 40-inch vertical. So I go, all right, Eugene, and play basketball in high school. Eugene will take care of the warm-ups. I'll knock down the outside three. Jeff, you just clean up anything that gets dirty in the paint, and we'll win the thing.
Oh, so you were John Paxson, huh?
I'm more of a Steve Kerr guy, but yeah.
Oh man, Erik, are we keeping you too long? Are you happy to hang out?
No, I do. I do have to get going because I've got I've got something coming up on the 15th, a speaking engagement. That guess how much I prepared for that? Zero.
Yeah. It sounds like me with this show. Yeah, like 2 minutes before I'm trying to do stuff. Yeah, I get it.
You feel me, right?
Yeah. You procrastinate like I do. I get it.
Well, no, I'm not procrastinating. There's just a ton of stuff.
Too much to do.
Going on, right?
I get that one wholeheartedly, man.
Well, Erik, seriously, you have embedded yourselves in the hearts of all of us Bears fans, all the way from us little guys up to Glynn Morgan from NBC Sports Chicago, and beyond. And it's an honor to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us for your second time. We hope this is the second of many. We would love to have you back on again, and just be able to talk, in the moment about the Bears and hear your thoughts about just the perspective from a quarterback in the NFL. And thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts for spending a lot more time with us tonight than you had committed to. So I think that kind of says, a little bit about
that says one of two things. A, I'm a nice guy. B, you trample over whatever boundaries are set up.
He got you there, Shorty.
Or C, all the above, maybe.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely, Glenn.
I'll be honest. I was like, 15 minutes? Come on.
All right. Hey, appreciate all you guys a bunch. Foster, again, love the jersey. And Dan, I'm tickled anytime to come on here and talk a little Bear football. All you guys as well. Great seeing you again. Glenn, best of luck to you and everything. So
Likewise.
go Bears.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Stay safe,
Eric,
Bear.
thank you so much. Bear down, brother.
Bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down.
Now, Glenn,
Hey,
I don't
guys,
want to
in the-
hold
in the
you. I
vein
know
of
that you
Erik
mentioned that
Kramer-
you. Go
What's
ahead,
that?
Glenn.
Wait,
I'm
what'd you
sorry,
say,
go ahead.
Glenn?
I just wanted to say, I know, Glenn, you're
No, I was
looking to
just going to
step
say in the
away
same
as well.
vein of yeah. I was going to say in the same vein of Erik, I'm going to have to bid my adieu.
Jeez, we just got you here. We haven't even heard you
but-
talk yet. Wait, just talk for 3 minutes and get out of here. Like, what do you want to, give us your thoughts on Caleb and get the fuck out of here.
Well, like I said, with Caleb, I'm still in the show me thing, and it's going to happen. It's going to have to happen on the field. But
Yeah.
I do have a much better feel, I believe, in terms of what's important to him, and in terms of regarding our football team. He seems to be very much an authentic individual, and that's great. As much as I think one of the things we appreciated so much about Justin was his sincerity, his commitment, his ability to just, be a very well-intentioned individual. And just Justin seemed like the uncle, son, brother, best friend that we all could relate to. That being said, Caleb is a different personality. He's more charismatic in certain ways, a bit more aggressive, but in a manifesting, positivity sort of kind of way. And again, as I said to Erik, very self-aware. So that's different. When I was used to that, he's a bit abrupt. I said this because I get it sometimes. I'm speaking with my wife, and she's saying how this current generation, they're so more audacious, and I think that's audacity of youth that we see that's so exuberant, and it comes out vibrantly from Caleb. And that's not something we're always accustomed to here in Chicago, particularly at, football players. We look at them a little bit differently, do basketball players, a little bit differently, do baseball players, so on and so forth. So for quarterback, sometimes stoic seems to work. Sometimes, I'm the locker room guy, like the Brett Favre kind of personality. Caleb he's a little more eccentric compared to other quarterbacks. And so I think his eccentricity was something that we weren't accustomed to. But now that we've heard him actually speak and people aren't speaking for him, he's saying, he's creating his own narrative and he's taking control of that. Something clearly he's done since 10 years of age for the most part. I think that as a person, I think we're fine with that. It's just going to, how soon is it going to translate on the field? Clearly, Paul's done everything he can to insulate the young man. I think more importantly, not just with the athleticism or the professionalism or the accomplishments that these other players that have been included to the team have, I think their maturity is something that Caleb can lean on. Erik mentioned earlier something about how well, Caleb will get along with the teammates and so forth. I really, and how he'll handle, the media and all that stuff, and what mechanisms he'll use to lean on to do that. I think he can lean on his teammates. I think you've got the veteran leadership here, the maturity from Keenan Allen and from DJ Moore. It's got to be from the offensive side more than from the defensive side. Defensive side, because that's who he's around more. And I think Odunze is a lot wiser and more mature than your typical wide receiver, rookie wide receiver. So I think he'll be able to lean on those guys in particular. And I think that the veteran leadership, they all seem to be very mindful individuals. And I think that's something that Caleb will be able to draw from to handle those adverse situations, which invariably will come across until, he becomes a veteran himself and more accomplished and more experienced. So I feel decently about where we're going. I'm still a person who believes more in. I the rest of the division didn't shrink away. They got better too, and the Detroit knows who they are, and they drafted players to fit their identity. Minnesota is restocking. I think the Minnesota probably has the best quarterback situation, at least potentially going forward right now in terms of just depth. Sam Darnold, still the 3rd pick overall. He'll be imbued with weapons he's never had, with a better offensive coordinator in mind, and Kevin O'Connell.
I'm rooting for that kid, by the
JJ
way.
McCarthy being behind him. Yep. Yeah, McCarthy being behind him is going to spur that competition. So they'll both, be iron sharpening iron, so to speak. You look at Green Bay, and they were the NFL's youngest team last year, and they got some more the top 3 or 4 picks were impressive, and again, fitting areas that they need and providing with the depth. I'd say the other 3 teams have better quality depth than we do right now. So it's going to be a concern, but this is going to be easily one of the 2 toughest divisions in all of the NFL. Ironically, they're both Northern Division teams, AFC North, NFC North. I believe going forward the next 5 years that the NFC representative for the Super Bowl will be from this division 3 of the next 5 years. Whether it's any one of the 4 teams, I think it'll come from this division because, again, iron sharpening iron. And it's just, really both of our teams should have been playing each other. Green Bay and Detroit should have been playing each other in the championship game last year, to be quite honest with you. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting ride. I like where we're going. I still think we need more depth, and but it's a lot more. It's a lot more complementary football. I think the way it's structured, from the offense to the defense, and even now with the special teams, and I think that kind of continuity can help throughout the course of the season. It's just a matter of whether or not the coaching staff can get everything together on the same page. So that pretty much cover the 3 minutes
how do you not have your own show and be on every single day, Glenn? You should be on like ESPN.
I'm sorry, say again, sir.
I said you should have like your own show on ESPN every day. Sorry.
You're a great person. I appreciate you. I'm trying to get better each time, man. I still sometimes flub my words too much, and
you're so humble,
right spot
Glenn.
at the right time. But
that's what I love about you.
Truth, man.
You're so humble. You're so well spoken and humble, and you've always been one of our favorite guests from the moment you've come on our show, and you're drinking scotch with us and hanging out and stuff.
Spewing it out of his mouth.
Yeah. And I want to thank you so much for coming on with us tonight. I know you have to go. I apologize. I literally only thought Erik was going to be on for 15 minutes, so that was going to abide your time with us. But now I feel like we haven't even spoken to you. We'd love to have you on again ASAP when you have, when you're our main guest, because I really want to get into some of these picks like UDFAs and Jamari Chroma and Keith Rudolph and things like that. The people that you've been scouting. So if you'd like to join us again, maybe next week, if you have time, we would love that. If you can, we'll talk about it. You don't have to commit to it now, but we can talk on the side. But it would be great to have you back on ASAP, because I really wanted to get into some of the meat and bones of these picks that we have and what you think about them. I want to say 2 things to you before we let you go. I want to say I have predicted, as of today, on the Barham Network, I was in chat, and I'm predicting that the Chicago Bears win the Super Bowl this year. And they're gonna become the first team to win the Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback. Why? Because we have been so futile at the quarterback position that we're known for it. And we're the only team that hasn't had a 4,000-yard passer or a 30-touchdown passer. I'm predicting a Super Bowl win in the rookie quarterback's first year. The Bears are going to be the first team to do it. I'm putting money down on it in Vegas. As soon as it becomes available, I'm going to do it. And I want you to give us your final thoughts on that, and then give us your best Bear Claw before you leave.
Yeah, I think that I think it's in August when the new Madden comes out, and you can make that happen for the Bears on that thing there.
There you go.
Hey, Glenn.
I don't quite see us get to the Super Bowl. Yes, sir.
He was sitting in the sun on that lawnmower a little bit too long today.
Hey, you're all gonna
right.
Hey, this is on the internet. There's a receipt for this. So if it happens, we can all come back to this episode. We're gonna know what it was. It's Erik Kramer and you.
and then you're going to throw a party.
I won't.
Yes.
I won't hold you to it though. I like you too much to hold you to that. But I appreciate the enthusiasm. But I got to roll, guys. But here we go. Let's get over here. There we go.
Down.
There you go.
Thank you so much, Glenn.
There we go.
We would love to have you on as soon as you
All
have
right,
more
guys.
time.
Thanks,
Fair
Glenn.
enough.
Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate you.
Sure.
Glenn just blocked
Thank
you,
God.
Shorty.
PJ, Foster, Sky. Dan.
Peace, man. Stay safe, Glenn.
Later, guys.
Stay
Have a
safe,
good
night.
brother.
Thank you, my man.
Thank you.
Wow.
That's
I
a take,
think
Shorty.
I kind of thought that Erik was going to hang out longer than 15 minutes, but I didn't expect it to be an hour.
Yeah.
That's what Glenn had for us was an hour. But he
His
wanted to talk.
positivity really rubbed off on you. You're getting crazy now. You've been hitting the
muted him,
scotch.
so he can't even answer your question, dude. I don't want him.
Now,
I don't want him
Eric
answering
here
your
had a
question. Sorry,
great
Carl.
suggestion.
I-
Erik says here for all of our guests, you guys should be taking shots of Malort.
Ah, nice.
I
I
like it.
can't buy Malort here. I'm not in
I can't
Chicago.
do it, Erik.
I can help you out. If you're
Erik-
going to commit to it, with your receipts, like you said, I can help you out.
Okay, fair enough. That sounds good. I'll buy some. I'm coming home next Friday for Mother's Day for 2 weeks. So
Then what do you need me for? Load up.
I don't. I'll buy a couple of bottles just for those moments. Eric Harper, Eric Harper was in the Ballroom Network earlier today when Aldo was doing a recap of the draft show with clips from the draft and stuff, and his draft shows.
Dude.
And he saw me predict a Bears Super Bowl win this year, and he was on board. So you heard it here first, guys. Bears are going to win the Super Bowl this year with a rookie quarterback. I'm predicting it.
Bold take.
I'm going to drop the mic.
Love it.
I really like what Glenn said.
problem
I
is
think
they'll
that he
pick it
gave some
back
great
up.
insight as to the strength of the NFC North. I think that people are kind of downplaying just how good they are. But that's a take, Shorty. That's for sure.
Not I.
I mean, the Packers.
It's going to be the division in the NFC, Carl. It's going to start this year. You're going to see it. We could have
And what division along with the NFC North?
No, the NFC North is going to be the division in the NFC.
Yeah, and then
It's
Glenn
gonna
said in
start
the
this
AFC, it's
season,
ironically the AFC North. You've
Well,
got
absolutely.
you've already
That's-
seen it with a team
right,
in the
right.
Bengals who just
Right.
came short in the Super Bowl. The Ravens, who with their quarterback are perennial playoffs Super Bowl.
Yeah, Ravens
Speakers.
got screwed by
And the
referee.
Browns are. It feels weird to say the Browns are a quarterback away because they gave up all the picks in the world for Deshaun Watson, but that team is stacked as well. So
Yeah, absolutely.
now, Dan, last comment that draw my eye. You've got Laz pointing out your maybe lack of football knowledge. Don't know if you've got any rebuttal for that.
Shorty,
Be
they
the
must,
mascot.
Shorty, they must have heard your football knowledge and said, no thanks. Maybe you could be the mascot.
This is in regards to you reaching out to your local high school to be a wide receiver coach or what have you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Listen. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. They were like, what the fuck? Well, you're not coming on there. No. I'm like, I'll do it for free. You have to pay me. No.
They're foolish when they do that because even just having a good person around with youth and look at the man above me, PJ. If you've got a good person involved with youth and you have some kind of knowledge and maybe you get a little assistance, you can build because it's about culture and people as people.
And that's a damn shame that the school turned down Erik because this is the most I've ever heard Erik speak, of course. And Erik's can do fuck you attitude. I think a lot more of the youth could use that.
I mean, when I played receiver in high school, I mean, it was just high school, but I was always thinking of the way to conflict what the cornerback thought that I was doing. And so I thought when I reached out to the local Fayetteville high school here, which is actually produced a couple of NFL players. Yeah. They immediately shot me down, of course, because I would have done the same thing. We're just going to bring some guy off the street. But I had ideas about, like when you're going out as a receiver, if you just can fake your hips going one way, but your head's going the other, there's a lot of different ways to trick the defender into thinking you're doing something that you're not. and vice versa with, the quarterback. It's one of the things as always scouting I have PTSD with the quarterback position for the Bears is because I've always been scouting quarterbacks like seemingly my whole freaking life. So I'm looking at the things like why
this is a guy who wouldn't drive 20 miles to see Fields in high school. I'm joking, Dan.
It was like 60, but like where are the quarterbacks that are like Dan Marino that can look on a 4th and goal when they're gonna kneel the ball and go, and he can look at the receiver and they have the same vision in their eyes, and boom, it's a fake kneel and it's a touchdown. Like, where are those quarterbacks? Why is that so difficult? Why is that so difficult? For
Do you
me,
think that's a quarterback thing?
I can see those things. Like, what?
I was just going to ask, do you think that specifically something like that, it feels more impromptu? Do you think that's all on the quarterback or the chemistry and trust that he has in his receivers?
I think it has to do with both. It has to do with the chemistry that you've developed with you've made him a friend. You're both on the same page. You're able to see the same things in the same moment. The receiver's like lined up like, are you kidding me? He looks at the quarterback. The quarterback's like, are you kidding me? Yeah. First down. Where is that? Why is that so impossible to get with a Bears quarterback? No matter how far you go back, very few of them have done that. Very few in the NFL have done that. So where is that? That's why I feel like I'm constantly trying to contradict PJ whenever I talk about Caleb on this show because I know how much you love Justin. But it's like the things that I see different in this quarterback compared to Justin are those things. I think that Caleb is the guy that is so cerebral that he's attuned to everything going around in his universe at a microscopic quick level that he's able to see them in real time or faster and make adjustments. And so those are the kinds of things I think that we're going to see from Caleb, which is a simple look to Rome Odunze or a simple look to Keenan Allen, and it's a first down. It's just a first down. We're going to see that slant play that we haven't seen from the Bears, that the Packers and Aaron Rodgers have busted our asses with for 20 plus years, and we can't get right. That's the guy, and this quarterback, I think, is going to be able to do that because everyone will be on the same page, see it, adjust to it, make it happen in real time.
I would agree. Yeah. I mean, when you talk about that quarterback play, that rapport with the wide receiver and the quarterback, Bears probably haven't had a lot of that because they've never drafted a quarterback and a wide receiver in the first round together, who ironically have had chemistry before then during the pre-draft process. So it's all feels like the stars are aligning. And yeah, definitely you don't have to look too far for like a comparison. You want to think that it can end up as something even close to Rodgers and Devontae Adams, like you said, on the slant man, he was burning us with that. So I totally agree with you there.
I feel like I'm talking too much. So PJ.
Yeah, PJ, I want to know your thoughts if we've swayed you at all away from Fields, and I want to know your instant reaction to hearing that potentially, whether it's a joke or not, Fields could be in play as the Steelers' starting kick return this year.
I heard that.
Kick returner.
That would be insulting.
That'd be insane.
I would agree that it would be insulting, and I think that the NFL telling the Bears and Justin Fields and Ryan Poles that Justin Fields is only worth a conditional 6 is also
insulting.
Well, I remember Vince Evans for the Bears back in the 80s or 70s. Help me out.
That predates my time here on Earth.
70s into the 80s before he went to the Raiders.
Right, and they did that with him. That's insulting as a quarterback. You do not put a quarterback to be your kick returner. That's very insulting.
It took longer for Evans to develop, and that was one of the reasons. I mean, they had him doing all this other stuff. No, you bring the guy in and develop him properly. Not play games with his future and his health, especially back then, because he was drafted 77. I remember I was screaming because I was so mad nobody drafted Moon in 78. But anyways, I watched it and I was like, if you give this guy a little more time and patience, because Evans took a while to develop, but by the time he was with the Raiders, because the Bears do what the Bears do, they fucked them up. We're talking about George Halas, where quarterback doesn't matter. I need a running back and a great defense. That was his style for his entire life. So we didn't have the concept of it was kind of intriguing back then because he was an African-American quarterback drafted who ran around, and he was one of the first ones. And everybody always says shit about the Bears, and I'm like, go back and check your history out when you're talking about the Bears and their race relations, because it's not what everybody says. The exact opposite, if anything, with George Ellis even. But they messed his development up, just like they've done. How many guys have we watched mess the development up?
And I think
you hope the buck stops here, man. You really do. Just for
I
the sake of Bears fan sanity.
I love Poles in the interview when he's like, "No, this is the change.
It's possible he was just tired from all that work he put in, but he genuinely, personally got insulted by that question, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
He said, we don't care about we respect our past. What the past is the past. We need to move forward. And I think that their entire draft signals that. I don't know. I wanted to ask Glenn, or I guess Erik would have been a good thought as well. I felt like the NFC North was very aware of what the Bears were doing, and they drafted a lot of secondary. It felt like it was almost an arms race to keep up with the Bears. Whether that's best pick available or not, I really like Javon Bullard for the Packers, just in a vacuum. Great pick, in my opinion. But overall, a lot of teams went secondary, and I guess that's the name of the game nowadays, but I don't know. Teams might be looking out for the Bears.
How do you win your division? You beat your division opponents.
Yeah, you definitely won't be making the playoffs if you go anything less than 500.
You do that by sizing up your division opponents, and then if you're fortunate, as some teams are in certain divisions, the divisions are so good. If you beat your division, you know you're going to win at least 500 or 600 clip on your non-division opponents. Go ahead.
Let me work some magic, just see if I can get our opponents, because the schedule has not been released. That's going to be coming out, I think, in the coming weeks. But I know what the opponents are, and I'll see if I can get those guys on the screen for you.
We got the 8 games, and then we got AFC South. And then
I got you. Don't worry.
We get the couple opponents that have similar records in the NFC.
Yeah, there's going to be a way.
DJ, man. He's like Simon and Garfunkel down there. Sounds of silence.
I missed your response.
Justin Fields, Dave Williams, Law. I don't know what I'm saying.
I missed your response. So are you coming around a little bit at least, or no?
To what specifically?
To the thought of a Super Bowl win with a rookie quarterback?
I think that would be incredible if that happens. I think
legendary.
I think the mere fact of what Carl touched upon was, as we got better, our divisional opponents got better as well. So we added 2 blue chip players.
Caleb's a blue chipper in your mind?
You mean Caleb? You mean Adunze and the punter?
I think Caleb was the best quarterback in the draft by far.
And you're calling Caleb a blue chip prospect?
Yes.
A win is a win.
That's a win.
I've always said Caleb was the best quarterback in the draft. That was never a doubt in my mind. So the point I'm making though is I think the other teams in the division also got better. So how much ground did we actually gain is my question. My question becomes, because we were limited in our draft picks and we got our blue chip players, but I think an argument can be made that the other teams got blue chip players as well. So
now, PJ, our quarterback play this year combined and in the Bears' entire NFL history have never produced, is it a 3,000-yard passer or a 4,000-yard passer? We've never produced a 4,000-yard passer.
Mm-hmm.
If that's something that we can get out of this offense, in theory as well, with an upgraded running back room, doesn't that feel like we made a little bit more progress than everyone else?
How many games did we win? I'm just
exactly.
Saying,
I'm saying this.
I don't go by the numbers
season.
and the yards and the stats. Show me what kind of team you are on the field. Somebody put up there. All Caleb has to do is throw for what, 234 yards a game, something like that. Somebody put it on. I can get that
up for you. Yeah.
So, it's stats are great. But Show me a trophy. Sorry, Peach. I had to say it, man, because I know you're with me on that.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's a team game, and the fact is, if you're looking at the overall picture, we could have gotten we got better, but we still have holes. There's a lot of holes still to be filled. So because of that, I think we need to temper our expectations as far as what we're going to do. I mean, you can be excited, and we win the Super Bowl. I'm happy for it, but then again, there's going to be a learning curve, new offensive coordinator, new players. We're going to have these things to work out. Still got to work out that other defensive end. There's things to still work on. So I'm looking at, hopefully we can continue to get better. But moving forward, we don't have that plethora of draft picks like we had to capitalize on this year. 2 first-round draft picks. We could have flipped that and got more for first-round draft picks moving forward to keep on building this team. And so we just got to see and work with what we get.
Well, before anyone goes, I just want to say I think that the Carolina Panthers' second-round pick in this upcoming draft, which the Bears own, is the most valuable second-round pick in the entire NFL. It's as close to a first-round pick as you're going to get, in my opinion. And the Bears do have quite a lot of picks. I can try and find the exact number. I think it's somewhere around the neighborhood of 10. So they have a lot more than this.
It's 9 now after that trade.
9.
Sure.
But even with that, though, you can have those extra round picks. But if your extra picks that you're getting is in the 5th and 6th round, I mean, chances are they're not nearly as valuable as having them in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, possibly even the 4th. But again, the point being, I think that I guess we'll see. We'll see. And I think Carolina actually improved a lot. So I don't expect them to finish last. I expect them to finish with a pretty good record, actually. Let me say not a pretty good record. I could see them winning about six games, maybe 7 games.
What do you think are Bears here, guys? Do you guys think saw someone put a good comment. There is a breaking point for Flus about 9 wins. If Flus has a negative record, it might get a little dicey from him. I think it'd have to go a lot worse for him to have his position be on the line, at least going into next year. But looking at the 2024 opponents here, what do you guys think as far as how many wins the Bears are going to get?
It's going to be tough, man, because again, we're playing the AFC South and the NFC West. South, the AFC South has gotten better. They're no longer a doormat, so it's going to be tough. And then the NFC West, they're no pushovers either.
The opposite of a pushover, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be great television, right? Caleb Williams versus CJ Stroud. I'm very, very excited to see that one. I mean, if you split your division, that's 3-3 right off the bat. And then as far as looking at opponents here, Rams, Titans. The Rams, I think, will be a close game at home. Maybe that's where the Bears get the edge. Titans, Patriots. Those are some winnable games, to say the least.
Washington,
Seahawks. Well, Seahawks will be a close game, right? But I think still maybe the Bears have the edge on that.
Wait, why will that be a close game?
The Seahawks?
Because of Geno Smith?
They're gonna. I don't know what coach. What coach did they bring in?
Who cares? It's a new head coach. It doesn't matter.
Defensive coordinator from Baltimore, I believe.
It's not Pete Carroll is the point.
I still think that the player base is going to.
For the Bears.
They're going to play hard, though. It's going to be a gritty game. I think the Rams are obviously a tougher out, and I still think the Bears get the win there. I'm just saying that's not going to be a pushover game.
Rams will definitely be tougher.
The Jaguars have a very good offense now. They got one of my favorite draft prospects, Brian Thomas Jr. So even looking at that,
he was one of many favorites. Yeah.
So we're looking at what, 7 wins? If you say that you're splitting, so you win all your home games against your division, that's 7 wins grouped in right here. Oh, the Panthers. I'm not even counting the Panthers. I don't know. Looking at it from afar, I think that 10 wins is possible, but again, it all starts with your division, right?
Yep.
Well, let's just go along the same narrative of of us as Bears fans and say both of those Packers are losses. So you're 0-2 right away. Let's just assume that.
No,
I know, but
I won't.
that's the assumption. We can just assume that's the assumption, right?
I'm going to
Let
assume
him
we're
talk
gonna
his
win the home
spiel.
game.
I think that we can agree on a 3-3 split of the division, whether that's splitting the Lions and sweeping the Vikings, sweeping the Packers and losing both to the Vikings. I don't think it matters. Let's just call it a wash at 3-3.
Okay. So I'm not scared of the Panthers. The Jaguars really don't scare me either. I'm not sold on
Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
Jaguars is which team is going to show up, because there's two different Jaguars teams if you watch the games throughout the season.
Yeah.
Which team is going to show up against the Bears?
Have they even signed him to an extension yet?
No, they just exercised his 5th-year option. He's the only first-round quarterback from that draft, which included Justin Fields, that got his 5th-year extension.
And is with the same team that drafted him, the only one.
Everyone's still in the NFL, right? But no one has gotten the 5th-year extension exercised, which is like $25 million. I don't know what it is for Lawrence.
When I'm looking at this right here, I think, okay, Packers, maybe you could we could, if we just went 0-2 against Packers, the Rams, nah, I think we could beat them. The
Titans,
Titans,
a good team.
Yeah, but that might be another loss. The Titans, I think we can beat them.
Dude, Rams were they could have been in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah,
you're a good team.
Patriots.
So I'm not going to hand that, even though we're at home. You know what? Tell me when the game is. If it's a December game, I'm going to give the Bears a little more. There's too many factors when I go look at this. That's why.
But they just drafted Blake Corum, and I don't know. You guys are sleeping on it's Sean McVay, who's he's a running first team, and they have Kyron Williams, good player as well. So if the Bears' run defense isn't stout, if the lack of superstars added to their defensive line proves to be an issue, you might be in for a surprise on that one.
The right edge, first and second down, we could be in deep shit. Sorry.
Aren't we? Didn't we not lose a home game this past season?
What?
That feels
wrong. To start the season, the Packers to start the season.
So we lost one. I think it was only one or two. We barely lost a game.
He said, "Bro."
PJ.
Bears
won every game at home now, except for the first week. Sorry, Dan.
Oh, we lost some home games.
Yeah. I don't think we.
Yeah, you're right. I was at one of them.
The benefit is,
Where were you? I was at the Vikings game. We lost that game, right?
That's what
you were at the
what
Vikings game too.
Yeah.
So was PJ, and you were at that game too, Foster. No, you were at the Raiders game.
I was at the Raiders game. I don't go to games when they lose, dude.
What sideline were you guys on? Bear sideline? End zone?
I was on the Bears. Oh,
we were in the end zone. Away team end zone,
50-yard line.
My girlfriend is a Vikings fan, and that was my treat to her. So we sat on the Viking sideline. I heckled Hawkinson a little bit. He got tackled.
You're out of here, Thigh. Fuck, I didn't know that. He's no longer our producer.
Huh? What do you mean? My girlfriend liking the Vikings?
Yeah, that's unacceptable. You can't. That's not
hey, she's not watching. I can say in confidence, I'm trying to convert her. I feel like I'm making progress.
Hey, my cousin's wife was a Packer fan at first, and he converted her. So
I couldn't do. I wouldn't even give it a try. I wouldn't be able to take it, and I wouldn't stand for it.
We'll let Carl slide because it's a work in progress thing. Otherwise, dude, you were out.
Fair enough.
But what I was going to say is I was heckling Hawkinson. Jeez, that was very hard to say. I think he got blown up near their end zone. Brisker got a nice tackle, and I screamed. I said, "Hawkinson, weight room." My girlfriend hated it. She was very embarrassed. I loved it.
Okay, see, so if he can do that to his girlfriend, it's okay now. It's better.
Hey, yeah, man, it's cool. We're cool.
We could win 7 of these games, though, like you said, the home games.
Now, the away schedule, we haven't even touched on that. I think that going to Texans, even though it's in the stadium, I want that game to not be close. I need this Texans game to be after the bye week or after the second half or in the second half of the season. And I need it in primetime, man. I want that to be a Sunday night, a Monday night game.
Texans 40, Bears 17. It's not close, Carl.
You guys have to admit that.
What are you talking? You have no respect for CJ Stroud?
Even the Texans has gotten better.
They
You have no respect for Nico Collins and a
no. I
returning from
said,
injury?
Carl. I said Texans 40, Bears 17. It's
Oh,
not
I'm
even
sorry.
close.
Well, I'll go right back at you. You
I'm
got to give
giving him a
Caleb
lot
some
of
respect. I'm
Yeah.
like in a 40-37 scoreline. I just wouldn't know who the victor would be.
God,
I got to see. I
lead
got to
off.
see because I'm still going. So all this crap and everybody's talking about the quarterbacks and the wide receivers and the improvements, and I'm like, I just want to see a capable interior offensive line before I can even say any of this crap. We've been
all
talking
depends on
about it for
Kevin
2
Jenkins'
years,
health.
PJ, right? Or a year and a half. We've been talking about this interior
Absolutely.
offensive line. Who do we really have? I know we have the names. I know the players we traded. I know we've beefed up. Definitely have improved our depth in that department. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that. And I haven't even seen these guys play together, but just what I know of what we have now from last year, we've definitely improved our depth. But we still don't really know what the hell we got on the interior offensive line. And anybody that can say they know exactly what we got, I want them here and I want them to tell me.
You know, I think what would tell me a lot about this team is how the coaches go about playing their guys during the preseason, whether or not they're actually building, to steal our former coaches saying, to build callous on the team, show them that they're tough enough to, grind out there, because you really can't during practice. You really can't practice your run game. You got to actually do that in a game. So in a preseason game, show me some tough runs. Show me some tough runs, and you're like, okay, you can show me that you got some grit about you. So those are the things I'm going to be looking for in preseason. Unfortunately, we got a 4-game preseason this year to where we can actually hopefully see some of that.
So I pulled up the score, the season last year. So we lost the first game against the Packers. We lost the next game against the Broncos. We lost the next game against the Vikings. But after that, we beat the Panthers. So that's 1. So then 2 and 3, Minnesota and Detroit. And then we beat the Cardinals and the Falcons. So we're on a 6-game winning streak is what I was thinking of when I said that. Going into this next season at home, a 6-game winning streak.
No, we only played 8 games of home games last year.
Yep.
And if you said we lost 3 of them, that's 5.
3. Oh, no, wait. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So a 5-game winning streak to end the season at home. That's impressive, considering.
Impressive, but we have a change, though. Have a change of offensive coordinator, change of quarterback. So,
yeah, but like everyone's
it says something, but then look at the caliber of who you're playing against. Those teams we were expected to win those games.
Well, like we've been talking about before the season, or after the firing of Getsy, that this offense is not going to change, right, PJ?
Well, it's basically the same. Yes, it's basically the same. But, Waldron emphasizes more tight ends, and to that point, we haven't really overly addressed it. I mean, we picked up 1 new tight end. So has he got his type of players here yet that he needs to run that offense he wants to run?
I think Caleb's good enough to elevate the play around him, which we, as Bears fans, have not seen in a little while. So I think it's going back to what Erik said, and Glenn, they said that the importance of the quarterback position is so important that it both requires a quarterback to do his job well, and he needs his teammates around him to do their jobs well as well. So it's going to have to be a perfect marriage.
And do you remember hearing that one particular thing that Erik said that rang really clear to me? He's seen numerous times when Caleb's first read he looks at, didn't take it, scrambled around, made a more difficult play.
In this past season at USC, the player who just won the Heisman was probably in his head a little bit, is already being a millionaire, and was playing a little bit of hero ball. And I don't know if I can blame the kid. So will he be able to accept the coaching and go back to the KISS method here. Keep it stupid, simple, stupid.
Wait a minute. So let me push back here on you.
Go for it.
So you're telling me that you're okay with a player who wants to play hero ball because of having won the Heisman the year before?
Mahomes plays hero ball. I hate to make the comparison, but it's not like the NFL is, there's no place for it. There hardly is, but I think Caleb can be the exception.
I just say this, man. With the talent that is now on the team offensively, if the offensive line plays average, Mahomes, Caleb Williams doesn't have to play hero ball because he's got superior talent. Let these guys do their jobs. DJ Moore, Eric Allen.
Yeah, it's a very valid question. Is this the best offense that Caleb Williams has ever played in? It's very possible that's the case.
But it's not the issue on whether or not it's the best offense or not. The issue is if he sees the first read and he didn't take it. That's what it was said. He sees the first read, he didn't take it. So regardless if it's Jerry Rice or Melvin Ingram, who's not an offensive player, who's ever open on your first read, if you're not taking it, that speaks to a bigger problem, in my opinion. So my point is, and what Erik has said is, again, he has to learn how to take that first read if it's open. And times when it was open in that first read, he didn't take it. And that's what I'm saying. So if those are the issues he's facing, that's something he has to work on. Same thing, like I said with Justin. If Justin had an open read and he don't take it, that's something you have to work on. Any quarterback has to learn to work on that. That's the point. You don't pass up that easy read unless it's a 3rd and 15 and that first read is for only 7 yards. Okay, you may want to extend it a little bit to try to get the first down. I can agree with that, but on a first down play and the guy's wide open, you take the pass.
Well, I got you, Pete. I wanted to throw this out there because we didn't do this tonight because we had the guests on early. We never acknowledged the chat, and I just scroll through this in, and I see the point of what he's saying. Thank you, Foster. I see the point of what Scrolls is saying is USC's defense gave up 43 points per game, and he wanted a championship. He had to play here. That's totally understandable. But coming to the Bears with the lack of talent that he has as receivers right now, not the lack of, the quality of receivers that he has, that it appears that we have with Allen and DJ Moore and Komet and Everett, a couple of the backs out of the backfield, that he shouldn't have to play hero ball. All he's got to do is play a good, solid game weekly, and the Bears have a chance to win, I would think, by the talent.
Yeah, no one's calling Caleb Williams a game manager, but that's a good starting point.
I don't want to call him that because he doesn't have to be exactly a game manager. He's got to play good quality. Like Erik had mentioned, man, if you got the guy who can play consistent and get some continuity with these guys and let these guys do their jobs to help him be better, it just makes everything easier. And then you can progress into like you're talking about, Dan. You know why that kind of stuff is gone, where the quarterback's not on the same page with the wide receiver? Because I'm going to say it, man. It's like the youth of today is just not – they haven't been brought up in the same mentality of people in that era. Maybe I'm overstating that. I'm saying it the wrong way. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
I would disagree because –
and I'm not going to say all of everybody. Sorry, Pete.
No, I want to say that chemistry that Shorty spoke of is more about chemistry. Justin and DJ showed that when they drew the guy off sides,
yep,
and threw for that touchdown.
Yep.
That wasn't a design play. That was, man, boom. We improvised on it, and that's what they did. So the comment was made earlier. I forgot who said it. Oh, Justin couldn't do it. Oh, yeah, that was you, Shorty. You said Justin wasn't able to show that. Well, he did show that with DJ. Did he show it all the time? No. Did Marino show it all the time? No. So at times he did show it. So the capability is there, but it's all about the chemistry. I think Caleb will show chemistry with the receivers he has. If he goes out and work with them, because him and DJ has already worked out together, Rome as well as
Keenan Allen.
they've worked together. So he's trying to build that chemistry. Hopefully they'll be able to build all that and be able to do that. But it's all about chemistry. And hopefully, I'm hoping that he has that chemistry with him, even with Velus Jones, because Velus is a weapon.
Who's ever on the field, man.
If Velus is taking away snaps from Rome or Keenan or anyone, that might be a red flag somewhere. But
can't coach speed.
You'll see Velus in when we had plays where he was throwing.
Can't coach hands apparently.
Well, you'll see Velus if he's there. You'll see him in when like last year Justin was throwing to Trent Taylor. You know, there's a time and a place to have 4 receivers in, and it's not a lot. But
are you referring to vaunted blocker, Mr. Taylor? There,
yeah. What a great design. Oh,
I gotta say obliterator.
Yeah, I gotta say this too, and I'm sorry to cut in, but Laz, every time you see me type Laz in the chat, this is what it should sound like to you. Laz! Peach, man, maybe hit the chat up because we did not acknowledge anybody in the chat.
Yeah, let's hit up chat. We got
we're starting over, man. Just like the Bears, we're getting ready.
Scottish Bear, Jason, UK Bears, Cliff Victoria,
Doug
Bruha 7, Casey L, Pepe Sylvia. Say it for me. Say it for me, Foster. Laz. Mr. MDJ. The Scrolls. Mr. Shorty.
Don fucking Burr hanging out with us tonight.
Steve Phillips.
Boys, can I make a special shout out?
Happy birthday, Steve Phillips. Happy birthday, my man.
Boys, I need to make a special shout out very, very quickly. I personally am apologizing to New Breed. New Breed, if you are still in the chat, we appreciate the heck out of you. And I personally apologize. I unfortunately hit the no button. We're going to have to work to allow you to chat in the chat room here, but I apologize.
Carl, you're good. If you're going to do that, though, you got the wrong Detroit guy. It's supposed to be Don Burr.
It's supposed to be Don.
I don't think that we should mention his name because he doesn't deserve the screen time. I'm going to put back the prediction here, or I guess the foreshadowing for the Thanksgiving Day massacre, we're going to call it. So we don't have to speak his name.
Brian Gilmore. Mo Bierman.
Scottish Bear. Jason, UK Bears. We got across the pond right now, man. You guys are
Swifty was in here earlier. We had the stars out for our guest today.
Jeremy Munoz.
10 Pang Dog.
Where's Mr. Mayhem?
Notorious TBG.
Really quick, before we continue, I want to get to this question from Casey. I have a great question. What were all opinions about Geno Smith as a quarterback before Waldron?
You did this for yourself, Dan?
Never liked him. Not even coming out in the draft. Never liked him.
I agree with that.
Waldron, I thought he was washed up.
Well, I never liked him coming out, and I thought he was washed up, and then Waldron did wonders with him. So,
yeah, I just thought 3-year backup, bye, he's done.
Yeah,
that was my opinion coming out of the draft. I'm like, well, he's not going to even amount. I didn't expect anything out of him. So
that's why
we saw in Seattle for 2 years now.
Yeah.
Iceberg.
Testament to him and his mental strength. He persevered, and it's paid off for him. He got his bag, I think, as well. So
he did.
I'm happy for Geno.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, when you he came in, sat a year behind Russell, and then he took over the starting job. So that's a testament to Geno's work ethic and Waldron being able to bring something out of him. I think the key to any quarterback in this league, whether it's Caleb, Bagent, whoever, it's all about coaching. You have to have the right coaching. And if you don't have a coach that can teach you the nuances of the game and the position, you're not going to succeed, because there's certain things, you just got to learn to do. I mean, like Erik spoke earlier about teaching a guy to have conflict, have a player in conflict. You either cover this guy and leave this guy open, or cover this guy and leave this guy open. You have to teach that to that quarterback to say, this is what you're looking at.
Absolutely.
And
The
if you
scheme
don't
as
do
well.
that, I mean, you're failing the quarterback.
Yeah, the scheme's got to put him in the right position to allow the players to execute and execute fast. And now
Yes.
I know personally that Bears fans have seen two players open against one defender against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and a certain quarterback turning down the open touchdown pass to run into his guard. So it's going to be just as much on the player to see the player in conflict as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
for
you have to
saying
see it.
Mic drop.
Many
You have to see it. And also, you
Dropping
can't
the-
have no
dropping the
defensive
Slim
player
Jim.
constantly in your face either, to make you
Now you got to pick it up.
get scared.
Got to check that out. Did we mention Keds the Canuck? Greg B.
Keds, hang out.
23.
Will Wright was in here for a
Will
while.
Wright.
Right was earlier.
Vernon
Yes.
Roseman.
Vernon, my man.
And just before we go too far,
Hair Bear.
we got Oliver Chapman,
Eric Harper. Scottish
Illinois
Bear.
Jones.
Illinois Jones.
You guys got the scrolls.
AC
Oh,
Adams.
The Scrolls is great. He's one of the regulars. I love the Scrolls.
Steve Phillips.
That's my boy. That's my cousin. B.
Steve
Shep,
Skylark.
Peter Tribe.
Skylark 99.
B.
Skylark.
Shep 23.
PJ, you got to give Mo Bierman a shout out. You always give him the voice.
I did. You missed it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I said it.
We're trying to double up here.
We did Mo Bierman.
Do it again, PJ. Do it again.
Go ahead.
Do the
Pete,
voice.
do
He
it.
deserves it.
Do Mo Bierman.
Mo Bierman.
Men.
PJ.
Create culture.
Mhm.
Yes.
We got to have a segment implemented like a PJ ASMR moment.
Scooby
That
Palooza.
voice-
Yeah, that would work really well, wouldn't it? That'd be
that
fun.
voice has to be implemented.
B. Shep 23.
Michael
A.
Thierry.
C. Adam.
Get Adam.
Charles Johnson.
Charles is always in there, man.
Do we mention VHS, aka DVD? Doug Van Dorn?
Yeah, of course, yes. Michael
I
Gutierrez.
just call him the original DVD long before there was VHS.
Dob C34.
David Corona.
Brewhouse.
Oh, that's my buddy, man. He's an Indian friend of mine. He's a very wise old guy.
Is he Indian or American or
American Indian.
he's American Indian?
Yes.
God, you insensitive fuck.
Who, me?
You said it, not me.
He's not Indian. He's not from India. He's a Native American.
You're right. He's an Indian,
You insensitive fuck.
not an Indian.
Well, seeing as though some of my heritage are people of Indian descent, they do not, or I do not, take offense to people call them Indian.
Thank you, PJ.
Wait, what?
I have ancestors who are of Indian descent. I nor them took offense to being called Indian.
Because
PJ
they're
is giving
Indian,
us the
not-
pass.
You
PJ is
mean-
giving us
you
the
mean-
pass.
You mean Native American or Indian?
Indian, as in American Indian.
No.
That's a Native American.
You are offending an entire culture of people right
No,
now.
I'm not, because I actually know some, and I asked them about it, and they said it didn't offend them to call them Indians.
But Indian people are from India.
Again,
Yeah.
I'm talking about a person I talked to, several people I talked to, and they didn't get offended by calling them Indian.
Fair enough.
My
I heard there's a-
kids aren't offended, and they're 13% Sioux.
So what does that make you? 26?
No, I'm nothing, man. I'm a drunk Irish
so
German
they're-
Italian.
They're milkmen children. Is that what you're saying?
I was married to a woman who happened to be Native American and Mexican and Italian and a bunch of other stuff.
Hold on, I gotta get my
So
cigarette. I gotta get my Slim
Dan
Jim ready.
can't figure it out because he's been out in the sun too long on his fucking
Scott.
lawnmower.
Can't you tell by my color?
IPAs.
I
Yeah.
mean, you can tell how long I've been out on the fucking lawnmower with per my color, right? I mean,
do I really have to tell them about the parasol that you carry?
That's beyond my pay grade. I think that's when I hit AARP. Is that what you're talking about?
Dude, you know what? This kind of shit's just starting to really get to my.
Beautiful.
Hey, when you pull yourself, that means we're doing our job. But you have to pull yourself back in. You're gonna sit back there and sulk her.
I was gonna sit here and this is what I was gonna do. I was just gonna sit here and go.
Yeah, I'm trying to honor you with my Slim Jim. And it's like, come on,
motherfucker, son of a bitch, motherfucker.
What do you guys, everyone here on the panel, including chat, what do you think about the stadium? Is the lakefront bullshit? Are they trying to get Arlington Heights to lower their taxes? What do you think about the new stadium proposal? What I didn't like was that you couldn't see the skyline anymore. You can't see the lake anyways, but I mean, and also what I don't like about domes is they're very dark, but that one seemed to be pretty brightly lit.
It's the same top as SoFi Stadium that the Rams and Chargers play in, right? It's kind of translucent. So if there's sun out, I think that it would still shine through.
So I will say this, and then I want to hear what PG's got to say. I'm gonna use. Anybody you hear the band Queen? They used to have a song called "Play the Game," because that's what they're doing. Is they're playing the game. My biggest issue with the whole thing is sick and tired of the taxpayers paying for this shit. We're still paying what for that? We're
$681 million.
Still paying for that. The taxpayers
just
are still
add some more.
Yeah, let's overburden them because they're not burdened enough. That's what that was my whole point is I really don't give a crap what they do right now. I just don't want to see hardworking people from Illinois pay for this shit. I'm sick of it. Mismanagement. I got a whole nother fucking show for this shit. I am so fucking enraged again. I gotta leave.
I just wanted to say the way that press conference started, it sure felt like the mayor. I don't know the guy's name. He was kind of spinning it like, yep, you guys are not paying any more taxes. This is so great. Now, if you could just give us $2 billion.
Mayor Johnson.
I think the reality is if Bears want to do the stadium that Chicago deserves with a city of their magnitude, it's going to be outrageous, the cost, because of the view that you're looking for, of the amenities, the parking, everything that you really need. The cost would be astronomical, and I don't think it's worth it. I mean, at this point, I really believe
every cost just tripled.
I think the best thing to do for them is to go to Arlington Heights.
I agree.
You have all that acreage there already. Make it the way you want
control.
It. Have full control. Have the acreage. Have the parking. Have everything you need. Call it a day. Arlington Heights need to just stop playing the games and just say, "Look, this is what it is. Let's go."
Arlington Heights wouldn't just be a stadium. It'd be a Disney World for the Bears.
Yes,
absolutely.
One of the
casinos, hotels, you name it.
One of the key
fucking J2K's here.
Fucking J2K, love you, brother. Thanks for hopping in with us. One of the key things that Kevin Warren said in that interview when they were talking about the new stadium was that the fucking Vikings already have their stadium paid off. Okay, how does that happen? Is it through a publicly funded stadium in Chicago on the lakefront with a stadium that they're going to tear down that still owed $681 million to the taxpayers on? Or is that going to Arlington Heights on the property that you already own? You can develop it. You can lease it out to all these other companies, and you can make shitloads of money on hotels and restaurants and blah. And boom, your stadium is paid off in 5 fucking years. How long has it been since the Vikings opened that new stadium? 5, 6, 10. I mean, if it's 10 years,
and
it's paid off. We're looking at 20
later. We're still paying for renovations.
Over 20.
Yeah, it's costing them money right now. And you can be damn sure that, Shorty, that deal you get at the Atlanta Falcons Stadium with their food, you are going to be looking at 4, 5, 6 times that for the Bears.
Exactly.
It's going to be astronomical.
Yeah.
Clip saying casinos. Yes, all that revenue. You
Yeah.
own that property. You're leasing it out.
Yeah.
All of that money goes back into paying off the debt for the stadium and the property,
Absolutely.
which is what? Blah, 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 plus 250 million, whatever they paid for that property.
Yeah.
Plus
And that's the problem. I
Yeah.
mean, because as I understand it, Arlington Heights is trying to charge them as if the stadium's already on there in taxes. So again, use your brain, Arlington Heights. The stadium's not there yet. So just charge them for what's actually on that property. Don't charge them for something that may or may not be built. Charge them for what they actually have, and then we can move forward. Because again, I mean, if you're trying to have a state-of-the-art stadium, because I hate to see them do what they did with their stadium when they built it in 2003. It was already too small when they built it. It was already too small.
What are you talking about?
Be smart.
Soldier Field? Renovation?
Doug's got a really good comment. Yeah, he's saying that once, if this was approved and they start building the new stadium and tearing down the current Soldier Field, taxpayers would still be paying for Soldier Field, which at that point would have been demolished.
$681 million for rubbish.
And I don't understand.
That's why they're calling it the lakefront.
They're still
campus.
paying on that 20 years later.
22.
Over 20.
2002, that's from.
It's not fucking paid off yet. Like, what?
What are you doing?
The problem. So now there's going to be all these different shit that's going on with the Friends of the Park that's going to add to that. You know, like all the legal shit that's going to go on with that. Like, fuck that. You already own the property. Go put a better dome stadium there, because nobody gives a shit about looking at the skyline when they're at the stadium. And I'm much more happy with the dome in Arlington Heights.
Build a skyline. Build a skyline in Arlington Heights. That's why I think Dan's trying to get that.
Absolutely. It's just here. You know, if they're going to do this with Soldier Field, what the Bears need to do, say they want the downtown thing. Okay, this is the only way we're doing it downtown in Chicago. We're going to sell our Arlington Heights property, and we're going to purchase the Soldier Field area. So it's going to become ours, not the Park District.
Exactly. Yes.
That's the problem with the greed and corruption within the city of Chicago.
Yes. Like,
and that's why this loan hasn't been paid off. So I would be like, sorry, screw you, Chicago. And Arlington Heights is not looking. Somebody's not smart enough to look at the amount of gain they would have long term. I mean, forever. That if that was built in Arlington Heights wouldn't have to worry about a dime ever again. They could start reaching out and helping other communities. And
that's the part I don't understand about Arlington Heights. It's the fact that you want to sit up there and try to overtax them now,
right,
on something that's not there.
You can turn that 20 times over in 5 years.
Exactly,
now, right?
Shorty. That's what you can make that money tenfold over moving forward, but yet you're trying to haggle over something that's not there.
Yeah.
Hang on. I'm calling Aldo Gandia right now.
Damn it, bring him on the show. I want to hear him. Dude, we got off at the fucking train station right by his house. Like, his property, his house will double if that happens. And you know what? We got off. But you remember that, Foster? We got off. We were looking at the whole thing. We drove around the complex, looking at all the buildings being torn down. We're like, holy fuck, this is amazing.
I remember that. I was the only one sober, damn it. I think I was driving too.
No, I was sober on the way there, but not on the way back.
I'm messing around, dude.
But I mean, I'm listen, for however long, everyone that lives in Chicago has the luxury of driving 2 miles or 10 miles to go park in the fucking stadium and, tailgate and all that shit. But it's the rest of the people that make up the majority of the fans around the area that don't live in Chicago. So when I come home and I visit and I go to a game, that train line takes me from wherever I'm at right to Arlington Heights track, right to that stadium if they built it there. So let all the other people who have grown up walking or driving, to a game, let them go to Union Station and take the fucking train from there, Arlington Heights, like we all had to do it our entire lives. It's going to benefit the team. And don't whine about it, because we've done it for all these years. So whatever helps the team, whatever makes the team a powerhouse in the league. Now that you have, like, if we, by all accounts, if this quarterback is what we think he is, most of us on this panel, if he is what he, like, I'm literally predicting a Super Bowl win this year. Book it, mark it down. You could say Shorty.
No, because then you'd be wanting to draft another quarterback next year if we don't do it. So don't do it, Shorty. Don't do it, Shorty.
I'm gonna get my hands on my.
Don't do it, Shorty.
I'm putting my finger on the mouse. You're gonna
Don't
get
do
pulled.
it, Shorty.
It's going down.
And then there were two.
That fucking guy, man. I tell you.
I love Shorty. I lied. I do. I love Shorty.
I love you too, man. You guys are. I love you guys. All you guys, man. You're a great addition to the team. Carl. Thigh. But you're Thigh to me.
Whoever the fuck you are. Sorry.
What the fuck your name is, Carl?
I like that.
I got a
Whoever
question
the
for you
fuck
guys.
you are.
What do you guys think about this? I mean, I really want to know your opinion. If Bears was to go to Arlington Heights, would they move Hallis Hall there, or would they still keep it in Lake Forest?
What's the drive? I mean, it feels like
I don't know.
still...
That's because I don't know much about the area. That's why I'm asking.
I would think what I would do is I'd keep they've already just spent all this money to fix everything in Lake Forest.
Right.
So what's wrong with having two facilities to make it easier for the players? You could even give them, not in everything because you're certain things, but then they'd have options all season, depending on where they live, to do their workout or maybe a communication with the coach.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's, that one.
Yeah,
They just spent how much money in Lake?
Yeah, they spent a lot of money doing that.
They did everything up. It's finally they're caught up to the NFL standards because they've been behind for decades.
Yeah, but it seems to me that if I'm going to have all that property in Arlington Heights, I would make it to where I'll also have my headquarters there, to where it's all encompassing, to where it's everything I need to do is right there in Arlington Heights. I don't need to go to Lake Forest no more. That's what I would do if I was the owners, but I'm just curious what you guys think they would do.
That's a good point.
It's a 30-minute drive from Hallis Halls down south to Arlington Heights, so I don't think that's a problem whatsoever.
And what is it? What is the drive from Hallis Hall to Soldier Field?
It's probably longer.
Yeah.
So what's on what time of day it is? If it's anywhere between 2 and 7, you're screwed. I'm kidding.
You can get on a fucking train from Lake Forest and take it to Arlington Heights.
Quicker.
Boys, it's 51 minutes with almost no traffic, it seems right now. Maybe a little bit in Chicago, but from Hallis Halls to the stadium, Soldier Field, is a 51-minute drive. So it'd be shorter.
How far is it from Arlington Heights to Soldier Field?
30 minutes.
From the Arlington
Oh,
track.
I'm sorry. Between the two?
Track.
It's a 20-minute
I don't know if I can Google that.
I thought you just said it.
No, he said.
No. Foster's asking from Soldier Field to Arlington Heights.
Oh, well.
To the old track.
Like nobody, I mean, there's 10% of the people that live that close to Soldier Field to make that.
Foster, it's 37 minutes. Now, I've been saying the main proponent that I've heard of Arlington Heights, aside from owning it and being able to develop it however the hell they want without the greed and corruption of Chicago, the transportation that's intact there as far as the train and the infrastructure there, that could be literally built around and make it super easy for fans to get to the new stadium if it was to be built there.
So do you guys not think it's valuable? Because I remember when the Bears was having kicking problems, they had to set up some type of appointment in order to get their kicker to go to sort of Soldier Field in order for them to practice in the wind. So if you actually built on the same campus, it's being right there, whatever issues you may have to be able to get, I mean, the field's right there to where you ain't got to make all these special arrangements. If you, again, got everything in one spot, I think somebody said it in the chat, it's kind of like a Bearsville. You just make everything like right, man, boom, everything's right here. You can have your hotels, you can have your restaurants, you have your Hallis Hall, you can make that thing so fantastic and such a draw that, man, I don't understand why Arlington or the tax assessor office, somebody was telling me that it's the Cook County's tax assessor. Look, make it simple, guys. Make it simple.
I agree.
I jokingly said they could build a skyline, but at the same breath, I mean, Arlington Heights would be totally transformed.
Oh man, I'm telling you,
That would be the skyline.
yeah, it'd be like a major attraction. It'd be even more valuable than what they got in what is it? Is it actually Green Bay that Green Bay plays in?
Yeah.
It could be phenomenal for them, man. It's like, wow, you guys should really have something there.
Now, someone in chat, I'm trying to find it so I can put it on the screen. Someone said that Arlington Heights, quite simply, is not capable of having a Super Bowl. I want to know what you guys think of that.
It's not capable of having a what?
A Super Bowl. So the main thing with the Bears, when they're pitched for the Lakefront Stadium most recently, is that it's not only going to be able to command a future Super Bowl, but it also will be able to command Final Fours, concert venues, all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But in the same breath, with it being in the suburbs, maybe the NFL wouldn't like the idea of having a Super Bowl there. I don't know if I
disagree because if I remember correctly, when Detroit had the Superdome out there, or what was it called in the Detroit? Silverdome. They had Final Fours out there. And that wasn't even in Detroit. It was actually a suburb.
I'll say this. I'll just throw this out there. If you take a 10-mile radius of Arlington Heights from where the stadium would be, let's say, and even if you fill up what you have there, you've got cities that are loaded with hotels, Rosemont. I mean, there's so many areas around it. Oak Brook, even if you go further, Oak Brook Terrace. I take a 10-mile radius, and then, man, what would that do? Not only for the city of Chicago, people are still going to go downtown and visit Chicago.
Absolutely,
yeah, that's very true.
And then all the communities around it that are going to get tons of service. All these little cities and villages that have some of the greatest food around that nobody knows about, and little attractions. What's it going to do for the entire community? People are still going to go visit. If they come in to see the Bears or a Super Bowl, you think nobody's going to go downtown and check out Chicago? It's worldwide. If they don't check it out, they're fools.
I mean, especially if you're leading up to that week of that Super Bowl. In that whole week of that Super Bowl, everybody, they're going to be flooding downtown Chicago.
Yeah, it would be a circus.
Oh yeah.
And they will, because you know where everything. I mean, the attraction is Chicago, even if it's in Arlington Heights for the venue.
Yeah, Chicago still wins. I mean, they're not going to. They're not going to win as
much.
Don't
the Giants and the Jets both play in New Jersey?
Yes,
they got a Super Bowl.
San Francisco
outdoor stadium.
Yeah. I mean, it's Chicago is. They started to get nervous with this whole thing. They probably even coerced Arlington Heights with some kind of money into raising the taxes so ridiculous that it would cause this, because I wouldn't doubt that the corruption of Chicago would go that deep, because they know if they get a new stadium there on the lakefront in Chicago and a fucking Super Bowl comes there, boom, they are going to make billions that they can put in their pockets with corruption. Listen, there's enough. The state of Colorado, I lived there. My vote made marijuana legal there. I have since paid a lot of attention from moving there from there to Atlanta. They have made so much. Their entire program was to take all of the tax revenue from that, which wasn't anywhere near Chicago's tax revenue. Nothing close to the revenue that Chicago or the Illinois makes from the taxes from weed sales. And they put it all specifically into their schools. There was a vote like 3-4 years ago where they put it back on the ballot during the presidential election. We've made so much money from the sales of marijuana that we no longer need it for schools. What should we do with this? Should we put it back into the hands of the people and give everyone a check back, or should we put it back into the school system in another manner? And everyone voted to do that, to the school system in a different manner to help out the kids. Fucking Illinois has twice or 3 times the tax rate on marijuana as Colorado has. And Colorado has so much money that they don't even know what to do with it. Yet we're crying. I say we like I still live there, but Illinois is still crying broke. So you have made all this money out of nowhere. If you want to put your fucking Bears on the lakefront, take the weed money and put it towards the stadium and stop fucking taking everyone that lives there, turning them upside down and shaking all the damn change out of their pockets. I had to buy a fucking iPass just for when I go back to Illinois. Why? Because anyone that doesn't, I can't even imagine what it's like for everyone driving through Illinois that doesn't know their toll system and they're passing a toll booth that's 75 cents or a $2.50 that turns into a $75 ticket because they couldn't stop and look up the toll booth while they were driving and write it down while they were driving because they're not supposed to text or drive, and then forget what fucking toll booth you were at, much less the next 10 that you went through just to pass through to get to Indiana. It's a fucking corrupt ass state. It's a corrupt ass city. And fuck Chicago. Put the goddamn stadium in Illinois. I'm done. Or in Arlington Heights. I'm done.
Hard to
I
rebuttal
cannot
that,
co-sign
man.
on it being a corrupt state.
It's fucking corrupt. It's so
The problem
ridiculous.
is the
I
Cook
cannot
County
co-sign on
assessor's
that.
office, because they did that.
It
to
makes me
every
sick.
fucker in Chicago, in Cook County. Cook County reassessed every property, basically double the value of it, no matter what. Doubling their tax base. Just in January, like stuff went up.
It's
18,
fucking ridiculous.
the scroll says 18% of our taxes goes to Pritzker's.
That's
and Pritzker.
generous. Yeah, that's generous. That's
It's
generously low there, Scrolls.
Probably 25. Knowing that.
That's money that was generated out of nowhere, guys. It was generated out of nowhere. Why?
And it disappears into nowhere.
Remember the toll system was only about to fix the roads, and then they were going to get rid of it, and then it
like
never happened.
everything,
Now it's
man.
just gone up and up and up and up. And now if you drive through from, Iowa to Indiana and you fuck up and go through the toll system and you don't write down your 12 tolls that you went through, now it's $75 instead of 15. Because they're looking for ways to.
Can you not call?
Huh?
I had like 3 tolls I forgot about.
Yeah.
If I'm not,
I'm like, I'm going to straighten it out. Put it on my
Listen,
iPass. And then didn't. They didn't do it. Sorry, Dan. And then it ended up being like $87 for
same here.
$2.40 that I owed within like less than 2
Same
months.
here. And 3 times ago when I was home, I borrowed my cousin's iPass and I drove through like 5 tolls and 5 tolls back just to visit friends. And I was like, okay, this is going to work. But I was like, nope, I don't trust this state. So I went and I looked at every single toll booth on the route that I went there and back. And I was like, okay, cool. I didn't get any tolls. There's no fines for me. It was the iPass that I borrowed must have worked. Boom. I got a $65 bill for like 15 or 10 tolls that would have amounted to like $15.
So
I'm still pissed about it.
So I'm asking, can you not call Illinois Tollway, give them your license plate, and tell them?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes. But that's my point. Like, so you have to be so if you're going, listen, anyone that doesn't live in Illinois,
you still got to pay a fee for that, because I still have to pay fees. Do that.
But make sure that you do your due diligence with this state, because they will upend you at every second, every turn that they have to take your money.
I'm not necessarily arguing that point. The only thing I'm trying to say is, because I'm not from the Chicagoland area, when I had to travel up to Chicago, because I don't have the iPass and all these other things, I went through the tolls, because again, they got it now to where you can't even pay your quarters into the thing no more.
There's no attendance anymore.
So I called after I came back home. I called the Illinois tollway system and gave them my license plate. And then they were able to tell me what I owed, and I was able to pay it.
All in one fell swoop?
Yeah, because what I did was I didn't register to have, anytime I go up there now, for them to take it directly off my credit card.
Sure. Well,
everyone's like in chat, like, holy shit. Without
this is
lube,
real.
Shorty. Mo saying
without lube.
Iceberg saying, get it off your chest. Yes, it pisses me off. It really drives me nuts, man. Property taxes. Listen, I have an acre and a half here in Atlanta area, and it's $1,200 a year. It might be $1,500 a year by now. It might have gone up a little bit, but if you had this much land anywhere close to Chicagoland, whether it's all the way to Wisconsin or all the way to frickin' Peoria, your taxes are going to be your property taxes are going to be ridiculous. I had an 800 square foot condo in Round Lake, Illinois, the dumpster, the armpit of Illinois. Over $3,000 a year in property taxes for a fucking apartment that I couldn't even have a dog in. It was so small. So when they are fucking people like that, to where, like, my family has 8 acres in Northern Illinois, and it's over $10,000 a year for property taxes for 8 fucking acres. It doesn't matter where you live; they're going to turn you upside down and shake all the change out of your fucking pockets, and then cry broke.
Wait a minute. Somebody paying $10,000 a year for 8 acres?
Yes.
Man, that's a deal there.
Exactly.
Crook County.
Jeez. Because I'm paying
10.25% interest rates, sales tax in Chicago.
They want you to rent.
For a pack of fucking cigarettes.
They just want you to rent.
Gee,
Foster, how can you even afford to smoke?
Yes.
You're like buying it's like a car payment a month for you to fucking smoke there.
No, dude, I don't do any of this crap in Cook County. I'm fortunate because my house is about 15 blocks from DuPage County, so I'm not paying $17 a pack. I'm paying $6.80. I'm not paying $6 a gallon for gas. I'm paying $3.85.
Yeah, good for you.
I don't do a lot of stuff in Cook County. I'll go.
Strikes,
I hate going to like Walmart, but if I gotta go, man, I go to DuPage because I'm immediately getting a lower price and I'm saving 1 to 3.5% in tax.
Are those
property taxes are pretty bad, but
are those the lucky strikes without the filter?
Yeah, I reverted, man. I figured I'm 60 now, so I got to start smoking heavy again, like when I was like 10.
Yeah, you gotta speed this death up, right?
Yeah, it's in honor of your Slim Jim, man. I'm going filterless.
Yeah, I got one more. I'm saving it for the.
What'd you say, J2K? Foster's old school.
When you know why I'm really worn out? Because I got like 3 women on the side, like 33, 41, and 55. I'm just running around nuts, working all day, and then I just go have sex all night.
Okay. Flex a little, Foster. Go ahead.
There you go.
Foster over there fucking the mummies, huh?
Peach,
Oh.
I got.
Can we run a poll? Are there any in his walls?
PJ. Dan's still down there choking. What are you doing, Dan?
Choking on what?
The background. This might be. I might maybe one more in the studio here, and then I'm going to be back in my prison cell for a month.
Yeah.
You won't be seeing my John Wayne Gacy paneling anymore.
Yeah, that's gonna be
next week.
Yeah, Foster's been at his mother's house that passed away, and he's been trying to, put on the market, and it's now on the market. So now he's going to be back in his padded room, his white padded room in his own house. I told him he needs to wear a straight jacket.
That would be awesome, especially if we had a guest and didn't tell him. I'm gonna use a straight jacket.
I'm gonna buy you a straight jacket.
I was trying to get one, dude.
So you're sitting there the whole
we've been
show
on for over a year, and I haven't done hardly any of the things that I've wanted to do on this show just because of circumstances of life, man. I had all this stuff planned, and it's coming, dude. Whether you guys like it or not.
Hester jersey back there, man.
Absolutely, man. Devin,
Is that just hanging on something? You don't have anything framed, do you?
that's actually on a picture. No, I don't. I got some stuff. My sister got me some old sweaters. 85 Bears Super Bowl championship sweater over there in the corner. And
they're all nailed into the skulls of the people behind the wall.
My son thought I had to take the nails out, man. The skull started cracking, so I screwed them in with larger.
You created a hole in the house, started to smell. You're like, oh shit, I have to caulk those up.
Give me some Bears paraphernalia.
My kids got me the Bears logo, 69, 62, 63, and 74. That's a cool little thing.
Nice.
And then my buddy gave me the If you look, I have the real Bears flag. It's not 1920 because they were actually established in 1919, November of 1919 in Rockford.
Weren't they the Cardinals before the
No.
Bears?
No. Cardinals are the oldest team ever in the NFL.
Yeah.
The Bears were Decatur Staleys in 1919.
There
They
you
were
go.
established in Decatur.
There you go.
The Cardinals have actually been around. They're the oldest football team you're going to find, dude. They were the Morgan Athletic Club jerseys, and their name was Maroons. And the team that became the Cardinals bought those jerseys. They're the only team named after a faded football jersey because somebody said, you can't call your team Maroons. That's Cardinal Red, and that's how they got their name. But they've been around literally it goes back to 1895. So they are the oldest team that is still playing in the NFL. And they were the Chicago Cardinals until 1960, and they moved to St. Louis. I always say, bring them back, man. This city could support two teams.
Put them in Soldier Field, make
Put
them
them
the
in Soldier
AFC
Field
team.
and put the Bears in Arlington Heights, and we've got the old.
We've got.
When
I agree.
Growing up, it was if you lived on the north side, it was the Cubs and the Bears because they both played in Wrigley. If you lived on the south side, it was the Sox and the Cardinals because they both played in Comiskey Park. That was the divider for this city.
I'll never forget that when you said that to me when I first met you in person at your house, at that house, at your mom's house, and we were walking in and you said that. And I was like, yes, if there's any team that could support, AFC team coming to Chicago, it would be the Cardinals again. Because at least there'd be a base for fans to get behind that. If you just made a new team, like the Chicago, whatever, AFC, it wouldn't work. If you're going to do it, bring back the Cardinals and make it legit. I can agree with you on that for sure.
Chargers got no fans. They could be shipped out to Chicago. The Chicago gets Harbaugh back just under a new team. The Chicago Chargers.
Fair enough. Guys, we're going on 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I know that Thigh, that you have to get up early for work. We kind of talked about not going over 2 hours. How much longer you guys want to go?
I'm fucking dead.
Hey, that was a perfect way they ended now there, Shorty.
I agree. So
I still think we need to discuss setting that 95, 96, 97 Chicago Bear rule where Shorty can't say anything, he can't dance, can't talk.
Yeah.
We have to set time limit.
Do you like the dancing?
Just mute it.
I don't know.
No, we don't like the dancing. We've been trying to get rid of that for decades.
PJ started dancing. It was PJ. I saw him in the background doing the dance, and I was like, "Oh, fuck, we're dancing now."
Pause. What are you doing with your hands, sir?
And then we need to have Shorty checked out for some mental disabilities. No offense.
What were you doing then, PJ? Were you doing this?
He's cutting up his shoulders because he's gonna head down by you and kick your ass.
He's busting out the Popeye arms. You need some spinach. Foster's gonna go crazy.
So none of this. More of this.
About no violence for at least 2 weeks. No violence for 2 weeks.
Gotta wait. He's got to wait till after Mother's Day weekend.
There you go.
Which, by the way, I will be home. So after next week's show, I'm going to be driving back to Illinois the following day on Friday. Oh, God, I might not be able to do a show then because I have to get up early to drive for 14 hours.
Thursday the 7th.
I'm driving home next Friday.
We don't.
The 10th.
Again, we'll show. We've tried been doing this for a year too. We don't need you, dude.
Fuck no, you don't need me. You're right.
We've done it before. See, look at that. There you go. Did you pull him, Peach?
I did.
Okay, cool.
Fitting right in, Carl. I love it. Yeah, that's gonna be difficult because I have to get up early on Friday to drive home next week.
One more
Savage Smiley, what's up? That's a new name.
That's the Smy and Thy and Smy. That's Nick.
Oh, what's up, Nick?
What's up, Nick?
Nick Smiley, man. Thanks for joining us.
Nick, we didn't get your comment in for Erik, but I sure hope you get to listen back. And Erik gave us a lot of time today. It was supposed to be 15 minutes. It turned out to be almost an hour.
Yeah,
Erik was real great today.
Conversation.
Yeah, I know. It was Nick, if you want to,
it sucks because we thought we were going to segue and we kind of screwed Glenn, man.
yeah, but
he's over with Swifty and Will laughing it up at our expense, bastards.
is that where he's at? He's on their show right now.
Yeah, well, he had a commitment, so hell, man, crap. He attempted to take his time out for us. Jeez.
Yeah, appreciate
I wouldn't do any of that shit for you guys.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah,
you're supposed to at least laugh at that one.
Nick, let us know when you want to join us. We'd love to have you on the show. Hang out with your guy Carl. If you want to come on next week, we can do that if you have time. I know you just had a new baby, so congratulations to you or your wife for having the baby. Not you, but
congratulations,
girlfriend.
Significant other.
Hopefully we're getting there. Not everyone can be like Foster and have 3 birds on the side.
Yeah.
Well, I can't speak to what Nick has on the side, so we won't talk about that.
But we appreciate you coming in here, hanging out with us, Nick.
Full time, man. I gave it up for lunch like 20 years ago. Shut up, Foster.
Shut your inner thoughts coming out of your brain, Foster. What the hell? All right, guys. Well, Foster, get your ass back in here. Let's end the show. It's been a great show. Erik Kramer. Erik Kramer.
That means everything.
Glynn Morgan hanging out with us for a bit. Apparently, he's over at his previous commitment as well with Swifty and Will Wright, who was in here with the chat. So go check that out when you're done watching this. We appreciate all you guys. Everyone in chat, you guys are the reason why we do this. I promise you that much. Without you, this would not happen. So thank you to everyone in chat. Should we get through them? You want to get through them again?
The Scrolls. Savage and Riley.
Anyone that we didn't mention? Doug Van Dorn,
Casey
Smiley. I know Swifty was in here earlier.
Demand Ice popping in.
Ice, yes.
Good to see you, Swifty.
Mo Beerman. And Mr. Mayhem. Jay Grizz. All you guys, man. KCL, appreciate you guys, man, so much for joining us. Thank you. Illinois
Mayhem
Jones. Appreciate you.
Knows.
Doug
Charles Johnson.
VHS, aka
Jay.
DVD.
Hey.
KCL hopping in with us. Jay Grizz, our guy Jay Grizz.
BearsCountry film, I said BearsCountry film. I tell you, BearsCountry film.
I do say BearsCountry film. I do say BearsCountry. Thanks for hanging out with us, BearsCountry.
Iceberg Slim.
KCL, Mo Beerman, Illinois Jones.
Appreciate you guys.
J2K.
Heads was in the house. Bree Hall 7.
Oh wait,
Brew Hall.
I got one more thing for you.
The paneling's
now, if this is a body, I gotta be ready to end the stream immediately. So I'm hovering. Don't you worry. We are not gonna have the channel lost to the dead body.
No mummies, Foster. No mummies.
Steve Phillips,
Iceberg Slim.
I see a Bruja.
Alan Pena.
Lies.
So should I glue this back on or take this off?
Glue it back on. That's more impressive.
This guy.
Wait a second.
You ever do that where you shave like one side and just look at yourself in the mirror and you look at hat, like you go like this and go like this?
Hold on. I'll be the stupid one. I don't know what's going on. So he just shaved that?
Yeah. Yep. Paste it back. I like the full beard.
All right. I'll have it back
on. I like
on
that goatee, man. That goatee kind of
I'll have it back on for next week, man.
It's gonna be like
go for the goatee.
He's gonna use like a glue stick and just put all of his hair back on there. It's gonna be like
no, dude. I got spray adhesive with Ron
good.
Popeil's magic hair trick. I don't know what the hell.
Good to know.
Okay.
The Scrolls, Doug Van Dorn.
Ked's the Canucks.
Kids.
Ked was in here earlier.
AC Adam.
Because you must always.
Kids over there right now. Like, how do I get a hold of Erik Kramer for the Nomad show? Okay, got it. Tomorrow we're going to see Erik Kramer on Nomad's show. Notorious TBG. You guys are all awesome. You guys are what makes this go around. Without you, we would not do this. I can promise you that much. Scottish Bear, Jason UK was in here. Jason UK is coming up for he announced it to me today officially. He's coming up to Illinois for my 50th birthday this year with my family for Christmas. And we're going to try to all go to a game together with Chris Watts. That's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully
In December?
Yes. We have to look for that schedule and find out what games are coming out in December around Christmas.
Good luck, bro.
Could be hell. Yeah, it could be hell. That stadium, you need cardboard under your feet. It is not forgiving.
The last time I went to Soldier Field in December was the day after Christmas. Erik Kramer's last game as a Lion. I think it was 93, 94. And it was terrible. My beard froze. My freaking beard froze. I'm not doing a December game in January.
Yeah. I get
unless
you.
it's unless it's warm, because I'll die.
Yeah, you'll be fine, Foster. Don't worry about it.
If the game is competitive, you'll forget about it quickly. But
I
don't drink anymore. I'll be sober.
You're already on your way to being cryogenically frozen anyways, so.
That's true. They dropped off a thing of ice right in front of me in my car yesterday, man. A big box filled with ice. I had to call the cops to make sure it wasn't somebody's organs. I'm not shitting you. I almost hit the damn thing.
Skylark 99. Thanks for hanging out with us.
True story. I swear to God, dude.
He said true story. He's doubling down. Unbelievable.
Yesterday. Frozen ice. This thing drops, man. Cars almost hit me. I'm fucking going, oh, shit. I pull over. I fucking wait for the trucks and shit to go by. I drag. Like, what the hell's in this thing? It weighed like 70 pounds. I open it up. Fucking that frozen ice shit. There was shit in it, but I didn't even bother digging it. I'm just like, I called the Schiller Park cops up because I was coming down Manheim Road by the O'Hare Airport. And I'm like, dude, you got to get over here. What if this is important shit? I didn't see what it came off of, but it almost caused like 3 accidents. Kid you not.
Oh my God. KCL, Pepe Silva, Laz again, Mr. MDJ.
Laz.
Don fucking Burr. You know it's a good show when Don Burr's in it, right?
Yeah, he's got his timers and everything set. He's going to be anywhere and everywhere.
Exactly. Iceberg Slim. He checks out to see how many people are watching. Yeah. Mo Bierman.
Sharice Armistead? Is that one of Don Burr's other accounts?
Could be.
Yeah, it has to be. Yep.
Hair Bear hanging out with us tonight.
So a Notorious TBG.
Notorious.
Something Judas Ghost, but it wasn't the
Irish Judah tribe.
That's it. That's what I meant.
What is that? Another burner account?
That's got to be Ghost of Judah tribe, right? With Irish in front of it.
But he didn't say like anything shitty.
True.
So
what's with the Judah tribe thing? That's weird. Yeah.
You don't know what Judah tribe is?
No.
Judah tribe is the 12 sons of Jacob in the Bible.
That's Jacob, why I don't know.
Being one of them being Judah. So he's
Fair
a Judah
enough.
tribe.
Fair enough. B-Shep 23. Where's another one I saw in here?
Actually, it's a good name, Judah tribe.
Calvin Canterbury hanging out with us tonight. You are awesome. Thank you very much.
Scottish Bear.
Vernon Roseman, AC Adam. Scrolls. Scooby Palooza.
Oh, Damon, man, you can talk for days about that one, bro. Judah tribe and all the other tribes.
Greg B hanging out with us tonight. Michael Gutierrez.
Go pack. Was it Chris Armistead or whatever?
That's right, Charisse. My fault. My fault.
There you go. Go pack. And take the fucking Brewers with you.
King Buka World. Creature Culture.
Yes.
We got to sort out what happened with New Breed. Absolutely. He needs to be.
I texted him on the side. I said that was a complete accident. We're trying to figure out how to correct it. But I think that once he was banned on accident, it just became we couldn't bring him back. So
StreamYard doesn't allow that functionality very easily, to my understanding.
Yeah, I couldn't find anywhere to undo that. So
they won't let Shorty go to bed without fixing that one.
Mr. Mayhem.
That wasn't a permanent ban, right?
I'm not a proponent of
yes.
Judah tribe.
We got to
I fucked up.
the actual the actual
one of
junior
our guys.
tribe.
Steve is just an awesome dude, man.
Dude,
I saw
there's
this on
just
the
two
photo.
different.
Sharice Armistead. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
So yes, I'm with you there, Mr. Man.
99. Let's go Green Bay Packers. Come on, Sharice. Let's really. Come on.
I could time him out. I don't want to do that. I don't want
You're
to.
the wrong person. It was
Sharice sounds like a woman's name. Am I correct?
What did oh my God, what did he say that in the movie? Clarice, we'll change it to hello, Sharice. Do you know where
Clarice. It's Clarice.
I know, but I'm changing it to Sharice because she's saying go Pack go.
Okay.
You know what? I hate the Packers, but I
You
appreciate
seen Jordan Love lately,
and-
Sharice?
appreciate the fans of Green Bay. We're very much alike, so we can agree to disagree. That's for sure. But hate the team, but appreciate the fans for damn sure. So thank you for hanging out with us, Sharice, as a Packers fan.
I hope you know I'm joking around too, because if you don't know me, man, now I've got that guy's blacklisted, whatever. There you go, J2K, PGT. Poles got this shit. Take the North and never give it back.
Never give it back. I think that's a
want
great
those
way to end the
records back from the Packers. I got to shut the hell up because I'm going to go insane.
Guys, you guys are awesome. Love all you guys. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for all you guys, PJ, Foster, Carl, thank you for being a part of this. Without you, truly, without you, it starts with you. This would not happen. But without Beyond You chat, this would not happen either. So we do this. I do this for all of you guys as well as all you in chat, and appreciate everyone and love you and appreciate your support for our channel. Make sure that you spread the word, tell everyone about it, like and subscribe, set your notifications, and we will see you. Well, I think Dan and I are doing a show on Monday again. So I think Last Call at Hallis Hall has been rebooted again. So
hey, Dan was a great listen. I had no intentions on listening to your guys' show Monday. No, don't take that as a personal insult or anything.
I don't.
Fuck, I really enjoyed listening to him. So I'm glad that show's getting rebooted.
Awesome.
Oh,
so am I.
That's always a good show. It doesn't
Alvin
matter.
Pena,
Anyway.
enjoy, brother.
Yeah. Alvin Pena.
Fish and spaghetti. Guys, let's end this.
Spaghetti. Yeah.
We will bid you adieu now. We'll see you on Monday for Dan, the other Dan, and myself on Last Call at Hallis Hall. And then we'll see you again next Thursday for Bears Country Podcast. And love you guys. Appreciate your support. We'll see you again soon. And let's end this shit on a 1, 2, 3. You gonna run the closer, Carl?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, brother. I can see you're already looking at it. It's awesome. Let's end this on a 1, 2, 3. Bears, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Bears.
Bears.